Gonna make believe that I was muted, but I won't do that. Good morning, everybody. I gotta raise the camera yet. Oh my God, it's only not even 9 o'clock. What the hell is this? Okay, good. Let me get a pop out. The World Cup starts today. There's something else that comes out today, which I may go later, weather permitting. Disclosure Day comes out today. I'm going, but we might have thunderstorms, which may prevent me from really going. I'm planning to go later this early evening. So we'll see. Disclosure Day. You know I'm going to go see that. What's up, John? Good morning. Just doing the pop-outs. So what did you think about yesterday's action by the United States? It looked like a harder love tap, but it was just a love tap. How many waves did we end up having? Three? But then Iran launched at Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait. It was like the same shit. I thought it was going to be something else. It wasn't much different. And now it was more intense with the waves. But it was still a love tap. Because he still wants a deal. Now he's allegedly giving them 24 hours to sign a deal. Or it's going to hit the fan again tonight. I believe that when I see it with this guy. I have to be honest. I don't understand the despotism of a deal. They're not going to capitulate. They're not going to concede on their red lines. They know. Look, let me ask you this question, John. Think of this. That's if he does. There will be no deal. I agree. Here's the problem I have. There should never have been a deal. You don't deal with these people. There should never have been a ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz should have never been in the situation it is. There's a lot of should have never happened in this situation. Yeah, exactly. It's not really a deal. I agree. Well, it's not agree. It's agree to. This is an agreement to meet, to negotiate, to make a deal. It's not even a deal. It's a memorandum of understanding. This is not a deal. This is just an agreement to go meet, to negotiate, to make a deal. So the nonsense continues. I swear I thought he was going to go last night and use our military and open up the strait and take it with force. I thought that was... When I heard about they're going to hit them for hours and over 100 targets, and then when I started to see that around the Strait of Hormuz, these targets are getting hit, I'm like, and he's hitting the island, Keshem Island, I'm saying, holy shit. Maybe we're trying to take the strait. Finally. And I was all hyped, only to be let down. It's like, I don't know who's running the show, who did the planning, but whoever did it was not competent. The strait should never, ever have been a card that Iran would use. It's incompetence. And I thought finally the incompetence was going to end and they were going to take the strait. They were going to take the card away from the Iranians, but I was wrong. I was wrong. It's getting me to the point where my blood pressure, I can't take it. I cannot take what he has to say. because every day he changes. I'm going to go look at, he has got a new Truth Social. Let's see what he was writing today. I wouldn't be surprised that Iran is talking to us and we're close to a deal. It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me. Oh, he's saying that we're going to be taking Karg Island soon? You don't take Karg Island soon unless you have the assets to protect our troops. I'm going to check it out now. I mean, that's just madness talk. You're leaving our troops vulnerable. What, with just air cover? You need our Navy right off of Karg Island to help that happen. So I don't know. Sometimes I think I swear to God, he's just straight up delusional. Or he's not in reality. It gets me crazy, I'm telling you. Yesterday I was all excited. Rah, rah, let's go, let's do this. And then hours later it's... Oh, don't say Venezuela in the same sentence. This is not Venezuela. See, that's another mistake. They thought this could... I really think they thought this was going to be another Venezuela. Maybe take a little longer, but it was going to be another Venezuela. I'm going to read it now. He just posted this 20 minutes ago. The United States will be hitting Iran, whose Navy... And he keeps saying the same thing like he's trying to convince people. Whose Navy, Air Force, radar, anti-aircraft, and other forms of defense, together with most of its offensive capability, are gone. That's not true. That's just blatantly not true. It's not gone. Now, some of those things might be gone, but not all of it. Like, let's break it down. You think most of its offensive capability? Depends how you interpret the word most. So, maybe. Depends how many missiles and drones they still have. So that could be. There's a... I'll give him a pass on that one. Very hard tonight. At some point in the not too distant future, we will be taking Karg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets, much like we have with Venezuela. Which is working out brilliant for both Venezuela and the United States. Thank you for intention and matter. He should never have said that. I think that's a mistake. Yeah, and it looks like he does mean it. Only because I think the Iranians said, fuck you, we're not talking to you. Because that's what I had heard. And then he tried to flip it, making it like he was the one who said, we're no longer talking. But it was the Iranians said, we're not bending on our red lines. We're not caving in. So he could be like... But I don't think the comparison to Venezuela, because now it's sounding like he's doing this all for oil. But then again, you can't take him literal. What he's meaning is we're going to choke them off economically with their oil. We're going to control their oil. Then we kill them with their economy completely. Take control of their oil. They're done. Do you know what I mean? So it depends how you look at it, but it can be construed differently. But it looks like he's serious because Iran is saying we're not negotiating. We're not bending. So he really has no choice but to take action now. Finally. But like I said, in order to take Karg Island, it's not just going to be you drop our people in there and have air cover. You've got to give them the naval assets, the logistical support from our Navy. The only way that happens is if our Navy gets to the Strait of Hormuz and enters the Persian Gulf to get to Karg Island. So maybe that's the plan finally. And he said it there. At some point in the not too distant future. So does that mean he's going to actually do what I've been hoping he was going to do and take the Strait? I thought he was going to do it last night. I was wrong. I'm wrong. I really thought it was going to happen last night. So he's got to take the Strait. Take control of the Strait. Take that card away from Iran. You do that, you move that's what I thought was happening last night. Move our Navy into the Persian Gulf. Then you could take Karg Island. You could do anything you want. Close their ports, anything. You have control of the waterways. You have control of the whole damn thing. Not just the Strait, but the Persian Gulf, the Strait, and the Gulf of Oman. Take it all. Take that card away from Iran. Then they have nothing. A veteran buddy of mine told me America is very good at fighting battles, but are not very good at waging war. That's an excellent point. That's an interesting point. Do you think... Yeah, I'm trying to see. It's early in the morning. Do you think the what? I can't read that. I might have to move these pop-outs closer to me. China and Russia stop supplying Iran and leave them on their own. Well, if that's the case, we got to do something about the Caspian Sea to start with. I would have targeted all those ports. Israel did it once. We should have taken out those ports in the Caspian Sea to cut off anything coming in the Caspian Sea from Russia, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan. That should have been done. We should have taken that out too. Now, I mean, obviously, China, Russia, we need to cut that off. But they're still providing the intelligence. But screw intelligence. They're giving them logistical assets, technology. Who else knows what they're giving them? So absolutely you want to choke off China and Russia. Did we hit their ports on the Caspian at all yesterday? No. What we did hit is a location near it, though. It was near it. I can't think of what it was. But we did hit somewhere near the Caspian. One. Can't remember the name, what it was. Sirik? Was it Sirik? It was somewhere up there. Good morning, Witch Moon, Jason, John, Tammy, the dude, KJ, Thomas, JC, everybody coming in. It's now the case of seeing to believe and not just words that mean nothing. Correct. Action speaks louder than words. I mean, how many times have we heard that? I don't understand what I'm seeing, and I'll put it up on the screen, but this is promising that I don't want to say it like that. It looks like the president is damn serious now about hitting Iran again tonight, again, like he said he would, if they didn't agree to a deal within 24 hours. So this means that Iran, he got his answer, that Iran is not going to do anything about agreeing to anything today. So it looks like it's game on. It's early in the morning. It could change this afternoon. So we'll have to see. The United States will be hitting Iran. We'll skip all that because he says it 5,000 times. Very hard tonight. At some point in the not too distant future, we will be taking Karg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets, much like we have with Venezuela. So he's saying not just taking control of it, but like taking control of it for the future, which is working out brilliantly for both Venezuela and the United States of America. So does this mean taking Karg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of it, similar to Venezuela? Does that mean he's just doing it for now to choke off their economy, or is he talking about permanently? You guys tell me what he means by that. Is it strategic to completely make their economy collapse? No more money to the IRGC, their military, nobody? Or is it we get to keep it, period, after this is all said and over with? Similar to Venezuela, which is not working out brilliantly? That's what it sounds like to me. That this is for the long term, not a short term. Similar to Venezuela, which is working out brilliantly both for Venezuela and the United States. So it sounds like he wants to keep it. No? That's what happens when you take this man literally. You can't. Because that's not what he means. That's just to make a point. Tusi's right when he says that. Don't take this man so literally. You have to, I don't want to say try to get inside of his head, but just try to think how he communicates and how he gets his messages across. And I'm not making excuses for him, but that's just his way of communicating. He does that. So, to me, it's just saying, we're going to take their shit, we're going to choke them off, and they're going to have to surrender. That's what I'm getting. You know what I mean? But you never know. I mean, obviously, the people have to. Iran has to become free, democratic, or whatever it is. I think it should be. If it was my choice, this is just me, and it's not mine, and I'm not Iranian, but it should be similar. If Reza Pahlavi is going to have anything to do with the transitional government and have a role, but he's saying, that's it. I'm going to help my country get back together, and it should be maybe similar to the UK, except with Starmer and others, but it should maybe similar, a symbolic monarchy, but a parliament elected by the people, all the people. Even if it's Islamic, it doesn't matter. All people need to be represented in Iran. It's not like you're going to say, you're out. If you're going to make this truly a democratic state, country, everyone gets to vote, whether you like it or not. Or regardless, maybe it should be similar to that of the setup in the UK. More of a symbolic monarchy where, keeps that tradition going on, the legacy of, just saying, but no real power. But an elected parliament by the people. I'm just saying, maybe. I'm sure you guys have other ideas. All right, now I'm going to read what you guys are writing. Good morning, Witch Moon. Okay, and control all the south of Iran. They have to do that. I swear, I really thought he was going to take the Strait last night. I really thought. If that would have happened, we wouldn't even be talking about this today. Because it wouldn't have happened overnight. It would have taken time. But at least it would have started. I really thought we were going to start to take the Strait through force. Ourselves. That's something the United States would do in the past. We don't depend on other countries. We just do it. And we don't beg others either. Yeah, we could just take the island. But that's not the point, KJ. That would be very stupid to take the island right now. Because you're going to leave them vulnerable for attack. In order to take that island, it's not just about taking the island, but it's also protecting our military forces on that island to hold that island. And you just don't do it with air cover. You need the Navy there. You need that logistical support, amphibious support. That is not something you rush into. It's got to be well coordinated. To just say, oh, we could just take it. Yeah, we could. But we're putting our people at risk. And that would be foolish, in my point of view. It has to be done properly, right. Because they're going to just target the island. Oh, there's a whole bunch of Americans there. Let's just target it with our missiles and drones. What is she bugging out on my mother now? She's unbelievable. I'm going to see a movie later nearby, and right away, because, she's unbelievable. What I have to deal with, because I'm going to go see Disclosure Day later, weather permitting. But she's just ridiculous, because I'm going to a certain place right away. Oh, there's crime there. I'm going to a freaking mall in a beautiful place. Just because a place might be called something, I'm not going to say where I'm going. That doesn't mean the entire area is like that. People right away stereotype. They hear the name of some place. They think the whole place is bad. It's not true. She's doing the same thing right now. Where I'm going is beautiful. But the name is triggering her. It's ridiculous. But anyway. Oh, my God. The island is just where they fill ships. That's right. And I checked where the piping comes from. Where the oil pipelines come from. It comes right from actually two places. Actually three. But there's a place, I would have to look it up, to the north. Most of it comes from there. Then to the east of that, almost parallel line, there's another point where the pipelines come down. You could just take that and control the oil flow. You don't need the island. Like somebody said in chat, it's just a distribution point. You got to go where the pipelines are come from. I could put it up on the map. I think Avaz is one. I'm just going off the top of my head. That's where it's coming from. So no, that'd be stupid. That's not where the oil comes from. Exactly, Jason. Exactly. it would matter. It wouldn't matter. It's still taking the country of the oil either way. There's an easier way to do it. Like Jason is saying, that would be strategically stupid. That's just a distribution point to go into the ships. I would go to the source of where the oil is coming from. That's where you're gonna choke them. It stops them from shipping it, but it's what? It's not us having control of it. Exactly. That's the point. Like we have in Venezuela, we would have to control all of south of Iran. I could put it up on the map. I've done research on this. Forget the UK. The defense secretary has just resigned, saying it were all useless. I just seen something interesting though about the UK. It's amazing that they haven't even done this yet, and I'm shocked about it. How is this possible? UK minister says new state threat bill could pave way for IRGC designation. What are you talking about? You haven't designated them yet? I mean, as a threat? What the hell is going on in the UK? Tell me what's going on in the UK. What do you mean could pave the way for IRGC designation? What the hell? They have not designated them as terrorist organization? John, please tell me what's going on in the UK. What kind of nonsense is this? A UK minister said new state threat legislation could give the Home Secretary power to act against the hostile state-backed threats. You telling me you can't act against hostile state-backed threats like Iran? As lawmakers pressed the government over the IRGC, Iran-linked proxy groups, and threats to UK-based journalists and Jewish communities, and of course everybody else. They don't even. This is the most. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What the hell is this about? You have nothing. Even against proxies. What is the bill? UK says new law will target hostile state proxies from next month. And it's taken this long to even do something like this? This is absurd. This is absurd. I can't believe. British said on Tuesday that the new law to crack down on proxies acting for hostile states such as Iran is expected to come. What do you mean? It should have been in place for decades. Have you not been attacked by terrorist activities in the past and you still haven't done nothing? Where foreign states are found to be engaged in activity that threatens lives or undermines our democratic institutions, we must ensure that the actions have consequences. Is he, this is pathetic. We will not tolerate hostile actors paying petty criminals to do their dirty work. Oh, does this have to do with the Norwegian from last year? Was it a Norwegian that came in? I think it was, right? You guys know this better than I do. Can't is just mad. I'm not going to, I don't want to say that because I don't want to. We could, Bill, but Starmer won't. This is, I'm going to tell you, this is, I can't even believe this is happening in the UK because how could you have not? Britain has accused China and Russia as well as Iran of using proxies. Well, you know how many times there were hit jobs in the UK by Russia, right? Taking out people. And as well as Iran. Of course, Iran. You've got a bunch of them running around in your country and you don't even know who the fuck they are. Sorry for the language. Many British lawmakers have called for the IRGC to be banned. What do you mean? That's not even a doubt. Wait a minute. Let me ask you guys a question. And you guys know this way better than I do. I need to ask. What is the relationship between trade between Iran and the UK? They have a relation, don't they? I don't want to have to do the research right now. This is going to make me want to dig to find out more. Is there a relationship between the two countries, like money, trade? Because it's and the French too. Is this connected? Are they connected? They are. They have to be, because there's more to this. And it's almost like they're scared to label them as a terrorist group because that could affect their relationships in other areas. That's what it sounds like to me. Can somebody fill me in a little bit from the UK? The rest of Europe already has. Yes, I saw that. Except for Spain, and what was the other one that fought? There was another one. It looks like most of the European countries are getting fed up with the way these governments are run and handle immigration, and I don't want the United States to end up like that. Heck no. But remember, I keep saying it under Obama, and I'm being fair. I'm an independent. You'll see me go after everybody. And that's why nobody likes me. But Arab Spring, when all those refugees came in flooding into Europe with no control, no papers, nothing, they just came in. You know how many element otherwise came in too? That was a big part of the problem, the Arab Spring. And I'm just saying it honestly. We don't bullshit here. We don't play. I don't play. But I talk about everything. A lot of them live in London. Don't they have some kind of a headquarters or something? Like, people tell me that. It's like IRGC linked? Or is it their embassy that is being shielding these people in London? Can somebody explain? I seriously want to understand this in the UK. Because this is a problem. And it kind of makes sense. And I've always said, I always thought it was they were worried about all these people that came into the country that potentially can cause violence, chaos, etc. because of that extremist element, that radicalization, the jihadi people inside of the UK. That's why they don't want to react, because they're scared of what could happen internally in the country. But it seems like this goes way deeper than that. Total trade between Ukraine and Iran sits at approximately 40. That's not that much. 438 million annually, though it represents less than zero. Oh, so that's not it. So what the fuck are they worried about? If it's not trade, then that can't be it. Then it must be the other. They're worried about the internal situation inside the UK with all the people that are there. It has to be. Good morning, Brian. Mostly men of fighting age have come in. Oh, ho, ho. That's what they're worried about. Why would they be so hesitant? There has to be a plausible reason. So it's not trade. It is the other, in my opinion. They're worried about it. If they were, first of all, hopefully somebody grows a pair and they carry out with this bill. And okay. Listen, I get what they're saying in the Iran International Post, but let's, excuse me, let's analyze this a little. We should go back to the article. Fuck that resolution. This is garbage. This is paper tiger garbage, the IAEA. I can't even see this anymore because they've never ever, well, they did for a little while, but to a little limit when they allowed the inspectors and the cameras and surveillance stuff in. But this is a waste of time. The inspectors, IAEA, this is garbage. The UN, garbage to me. Garbage. But I got to get back to this. The M15, MI5, when I say M15, MI5 has warned that the state threat investigations rose 35% last year, including 20 potentially lethal Iranian-backed plots. Come on, enough is enough. Let's just call it out for what it is. This is a risk to the entire populace, not just the Jewish community, and yes, they are targeted, and not just journalists, but everyone that lives in the UK. Many British lawmakers have called for the IRGC to be banned, but there was no indication whether the force would be included under the new legislation. What does that mean, whether the force? What does that mean? Like force? Literal force? Oh, come into force next month. That's what the reference is to. The law would target state-linked organizations accused of paying criminal groups or low-level offenders to carry out activities, such as surveillance and sabotage. It would make it illegal to express support for designated proxies or take money from them with prison up to 14 years. Does it go even far enough? I don't know if it even goes far enough, to be honest. If this is it, where was the bill? I clicked on it. We should look at the bill itself. We should try to find what the bill says. Actually, what the bill... No, it's not going to take me... One of you should look into this. Where we can act on any potential state threat. But see, if I'm in the UK, I'm a little worried about the generalization of this, where we can act on any potential state threat. What if it's the citizens of the UK and they use this law against the people of the UK? I'm a little scary with the language. Any potential state threat. They're saying anti-Semitism, but it's more than that. It is that. There's no question. He said it was not just the IRGC, but also Iran-linked, which has also claimed responsibility for... Okay, so it's proxies. We take the threats from Iran extremely seriously, and we will continue to monitor that. What is it? Can anybody tell me about this guy? David Hansen? What's his story? Anybody know? Well, who is this person? I believe it, Dave. I believe it. I may have to do some serious research on this, because it's triggering me to look into this guy now. Who is David Hansen? What's his position? What's his track record? Is he just all talk? Exactly. Lord John Cryer said the bill was welcome but overdue. Now this person sounds like they might be somebody who has some guts. I don't know. I have to look into this. Saying IRGC proxies and agents have targeted British Jews and Jewish institutions. But okay, but it's not just that. I get that. But it's a threat to the entire population. Holy shit. Lord Stuart Pollack urged ministers to look beyond the IRGC itself and examine what's going on in the charity world here. What he means is that with the money. Saying money was being raised in Britain, including British taxpayers' money, toward helping the IRGC. What? And had placed Iran under the Foreign Influence Registration Scheme. What the fuck is that? That sounds weak. What is that? What this power will do is give the Secretary of State, if passed by both houses, an additional power to take action against any state threat the Secretary of State deems to be a threat to the United Kingdom. Well, duh. And I still think that, I don't understand it, the UK officers should be armed. I'm sorry. What's up with that? What is up with that? Why are not the UK police officers, what, tasers? What, clubs? Pepper spray? Why, can somebody explain that to me? Why they don't arm the police constables in the UK? What is that about? That gives them an automatic edge of deterrence. I understand if the laws could be strict as far as the populace, but the police? I don't know. What's it going to take? I really don't. That kind of puzzles me. I think it has to do. I think it has to do with somebody. Didn't somebody come in from like a Scandinavian type country and was plotting to do something in the UK, but was arrested? I think a Norwegian. No, last year. You guys know this more in the UK than I do. I'm gonna see if I find it. I'm gonna see if I find it. Yeah, there is. British police. This is an hour going. It's on up there. British police have released footage of the arrest of Johannes Natland, a 19-year-old Norwegian national charged with traveling to Britain last year to carry out a killing on the behalf of the criminal network prosecutors say is linked to the Islamic Republic. It was. It was. Maybe this is part of the whole thing and what they're meeting about, and they played this video maybe to show a case like regarding why the bill should be passed. British police show arrest of Norwegian teenager linked with Iran. What the hell? Also, wow. So he was arrested in some kind of a plot. I would like to know more about this dude. What was he plotting? Like the details in the UK. What's his name again? Johannes Natland. I'm gonna look this up. By the way, what a Knicks game last night. Oh my gosh. And the one thing I gotta say, the New York fans stayed there the whole time in the MSG. They never gave up on their team. They actually helped motivate the team. That's the difference between real diehard fans and those that walk out thinking the game is over. None of those fans left. Even when the Knicks were 20 points down at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That was the biggest comeback in NBA Finals history. And the Knicks won by 1. It was amazing to watch. That's what I was doing. I was watching it. I was like, oh my God. What a game. What a game. And it's a swing game. The Knicks lose that. They go back to San Antonio tied 2-2. Momentum is in the Spurs' favor, 100%. Now they can go there. If they lose, they still come back to MSG for Game 6. Up 3-1. Puts them in a pretty good position. It would be nice if they could just win Saturday night and get it over with. Though it would have been nice to celebrate in New York. Then again, no. Don't. Don't. Because they might play. Who knows what's going to happen in the city when the Knicks win. God forbid. I hope it's peaceful, everybody's respectful, and there's no cray-crays out there. Because in New York City, there's that element I always talk about, and they always do crazy shit. And it's the gangbangers. It is the gangbangers. It's like they've always done it. And I'm afraid of that for the city. He was going to undertake a hit. I'm not a fan of the BBC. Norway teen was in UK to undertake a hit. What's the date on this? Oh, recent. Last week. Undertake a hit on behalf of a Swedish organized crime group linked to the Iran. We've seen that. He was arrested with 2 guns and 12 rounds. He traveled to the country on an emergency passport. What is the details of this emergency passport? Why was he there? What kind of an emergency could he have to get into the UK? What is that? Prosecutors allege he collected the guns from a hide, so somebody planted them there. He's pleaded guilty to being in possession of the 2 weapons. He denies the charge of conspiracy to murder. But what was his target? Agent 47. They were discussing an assassination. Great Britain, as easy as it can be. Look at that. He messaged his girlfriend he was going on a crazy mission. Then he made the flight booking. He had arranged an emergency passport and was on his way to Stavanger Airport to board a flight to Manchester. But then he was warned that the guy person he was in contact with had been arrested. Before he left to go to the UK, he was well aware that one of the people who had recruited him had been arrested for conspiracy to murder. The defendant's response to those measures was not to pull out of what he was doing, not to stop. On arrival to Manchester, he was detained because he had only $40 in cash, no accommodations booked, and no return ticket. He said he was there to meet friends that he'd been playing online games with. That's an emergency fucking passport? That's just insane. He was of legal age. He booked into the Briar Court Hotel for 3 days on Agent 47's instructions. Told him to hide at the base of a tree in a wooded area. To a high place, that's where the weapons were. He picked up the guns there and the ammunition. So who planted them? In the UK. He bought 3 pairs of rubber gloves. Wow. Have you tested the weapons? Hell no, they would be tested on the guy. Who's the guy? I wonder what his intended target was. I don't know what the UK is doing, seriously. I just don't understand. I'm going to see what you guys are writing. Kava, Bill, it goes back to history to Robert Peel, 1829, because private firearm ownership is highly restricted in the UK and gun crime is statistically very rare. I know that. Bill, when is the last time y'all have had a parade for a sports team? Oh my God. The Yankees in 2009? I believe. I think so. Rangers was in the 90s. The Knicks have been 50-something years. Giants and Jets, forget about that. That's early 2000s Giants. That's a good question. That's my mother's phone. I'm going to lower the mic. Wow, that's actually a brilliant idea. But I don't know the legality of it. That's something totally different. But they're saying that any damage done to the Arab countries, the money will come out of their frozen funds. They'll pay for it. Any damage it inflicts on our allies in the Gulf will be paid for with funds extracted from Iranian accounts. Any tolls to the Persian Gulf Strait Authority will be offset by funds extracted from their accounts. This is a great idea. You want to play the game? We'll just take the money out of your frozen funds, which will then be used to rebuild the Arab countries. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to read what you guys are writing. Well, the Second Amendment is very important here. You better believe that. Keeps our government in check and is a huge deterrent to any country. Absolutely, totally agree with Jason. 009, not 009. 006, what's happening? Well, I guess that makes us old, Bill, if he was Agent 47. Oh. Keeping regular officers unarmed prevents the escalation of violence and minimizes the risk of accidental shootings or weapons. That may be true, but if something were to happen, they will be easily overwhelmed by those who mean to do so much harm. That's what scares me. I get that part. But if there's a group that plans something and they're armed, because they can get it in, look how these guns were planted. How'd those guns get there? So obviously there's always a way. Would you want to see a bunch of Islamic radical extremists plan to do a mass something somewhere in the UK and the police have no way? I'm sure they have special forces that are armed, but at the scene, at the immediate area where it's happening, and they have no way to respond because they're not armed, but they are. I'm concerned about that, as they should be. I get what you're saying. That doesn't make me feel better about it. At all. I want my law enforcement. Yes, there are accidents. Accidents happen. People innocent. Yes, I get that. Statistically, that's very low in the overall number. It does happen, but it's very low. I want my police to be able to defend the people. And here in this country, when you have a concealed weapon and shit pops off, at least there are people that can respond to something right here, right now. And yeah, it might go sideways, but my God. But I get what you're saying. I totally get it. I totally respect what you're saying, Kava. I get it. I had a gun license for years, and then they changed the laws, and it's so hard to own a gun now in the UK. But again, it does. I get the statistical point of it, as far as the violence involving guns, by citizens or whatever. A lot of the problem here is illegal guns. It's not gun owners, it's the illegal guns. And you have to see that number. That's the first time I've heard of this case. It seems to have been kept very low key. Really? You guys should look into it more. They will have sword fights with them. I hear a lot about that, knife attacks in the UK. But it's like he's saying, it could have been guns if they had access to guns. So I totally get Kava's point. Good morning, Diesel. This may be a world awakening to what is going on in other countries, and it's a good thing. I agree, Marianne. People need to, I don't want to say the W word because it might be people might think when I say people need to wake up, it's not woke. Just saying. But, I agree. So, again, the president looks like he's talking tough this morning again. That tonight might be another hard night in Iran. And that not too far in the distant future, Karg Island's going to be taken. Oh, but let me just show you. I would have to look into it more because I can't remember when I was doing my research. what Jason and I were talking about, and that's really what you want to do. Forget about Karg Island. Go to where it's distributed. Control that. Then we're talking. Then you control the oil. And there's quite a bit of it in the South, like Jason said. Let me open up Google Earth. I could even open up Flight Radar. Actually, I do want to see Flight Radar. I'm going to the movies this afternoon if the weather is not bad, because I don't like traveling in severe thunderstorm possibility today. More tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be bad. They're saying tomorrow could be bad here. I'll get into the weather in a second. Very little activity on Flight Radar. But that's because it's early. The night has yet to come. Based on what the president said, it could be another night. Okay, so Karg is around here somewhere. There it is. Okay? It comes in from here, but the main point is up here. Avaz, is it? Yeah, here, around here. Avaz is a big point where the oil is coming from through the pipelines to come down to Karg. And there's another one here. I just can't remember the name. It's somewhere in here. And it's pipelined. And it's all, they all interconnect, but I can't remember where exactly, but I remember that up here. And you might even be able to find it. You could look this up yourselves. You take this, and it's not that far inland. You take the positions here. You control the oil flow, period. Period. You don't have to take Karg Island. You want to control the oil? You take these positions. But that's boots on the ground. That's a whole... I'm not sure that's something I want to do. If it's me. Because like Jason said, you're going to have to take a lot of South Iran to do it. Because that's their main distribution areas that go to the pipelines that come to Karg. And you could, if you look at Karg, you might even see off on the shore where the pipes are. But I'm not going to go through this. I can't use Flight Radar to do it because they're not that detailed. But strategically, if you want to take it, you're just not going to take this. You don't want to damage this because this is the point of distribution to the tankers. But you can do limited damage to the pipelines if you just want to cut it off. But you're really going to have to take control of the actual areas that are distributing the oil for real, if that makes any sense. I live in Avaz, next door to oil fields. Look at that. Kava's saying it. So, Kava, you know what I'm saying. And I pray for you and your family, Kava, and you got to be careful. Don't, Kava, I know I'm just saying this on a personal level. Don't say too much in chat. Because all of us are being watched and monitored. Everybody in chat, be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful with your comments. You're not saying anything, but just don't. Be careful. Don't put yourself in a position. But that's crazy. You live right there. So he knows. That would be major if you could take control of those oil fields. Now you're talking. Forget about the distribution points. There is no oil going to the distribution points if you take these positions. But that's a hell of a risky mission. So I don't know. Karg Island, it's a small island. So, I mean, are you going there to take control of the storage tanks? What's the point of... It doesn't even make too much sense. Because they control the oil flow going to the Karg Island. They could just cut it off. It doesn't even really matter. You're just going to get a piece of land. Yeah, you're going to stop the oil for sure. But there's other ways to do that. Doesn't the blockade do that? And even if you took the Strait of Hormuz and you opened it, I mean, you can do a military blockade and control the island from the outside. If you control the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman, you don't need to take Kharg Island because now you control the whole freaking area. It doesn't make too much sense to me. But my blessings to you, Kava, and all the people in Iran. And I don't want to speak for everybody. I am praying for all of you. I've been doing this from day one in support of, my real thing was the support of the Iranian people who are suffering and the massacre. And I don't even want to go through everything I say all the time. I'm going to see Disclosure Day. It's almost like a homework assignment for me. I have to go see that movie. It's almost like a homework assignment. It's part of what I do work related. It's something I got to go see. You see, you have support, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I could pretty much guess, if I was guessing, the vast majority, if not everyone, supports you and all the people that want freedom in Iran. But I'm not speaking on behalf of them, but if I was to guess, the vast majority are in support. Kava. And you know this, you've been around here since probably the beginning, like Marianne and some of the others in chat. Before the protests even were going on in the streets where they horribly, heinously got massacred. We've been here before that started. And I'll say it again. I have the utmost gratitude to Tusi because he inspired me to do this. Because that's how I found out. It was through Tusi. Then I started tuning into Goldie when it was just Goldie. Before Armin really joined her, it was just Goldie. Tusi just came out with a post. Is this now? Or is this old? Oh, this is old. See, I'm getting old posts. What's going on? Wait a minute. Oh, no. No, is it old? It might be. Oh, yeah, it's old. It was from last night. I don't understand how I'm getting notifications from this the next day. President... All right, we should go to that. We should go to the New York Post. Yeah, it's all over New York. New York was going crazy last night. It is a historical game because the biggest comeback in NBA Finals history. How they came, it says it right here. Knicks pull off historic NBA Finals comeback. Unbelievable. But that's not what I'm here for. Yeah, see, this is what we want to see. We'll be taking Kharg Island oil export hub. I don't know. There's other ways to do it than taking... You see, if you're thinking about the future production of this site, you don't want to really damage it too much, but there's other ways to stop the oil flow from getting there without causing irreparable, costly damages. There's other strategic ways to do it and have the same effect. That's what I would do. Just saying. What the hell is this? Oh yeah, my God. The U.S. will soon take over Kharg Island, which possesses about 90% of Iran's crude for export, following a second day of airstrikes, blah, blah, blah. The United States will be hitting Iran, we read this earlier, very hard tonight. Oh, do you guys want to see a funny video I downloaded last night? Somebody put in chat. I don't forget who it was. I was freaking dying. At some point, yeah, he mentioned that at some point in the not too distant, we'll be taking Cargill and other oil. That's important. Other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets, much like we have in Venezuela. So tonight might be very interesting. I don't know if I really want to go to the movies tonight because I might miss out on stuff. I don't know. Yeah, last night the response, they sent missiles toward Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait. I don't know if you guys caught that. Yes, environmental disaster. Marianne, it's just also putting our troops at risk. That's what I'm worried about. You know, I'm worried about that. All right, they're just talking. This is just summarizing everything that we already know. A lot of us already know. I may not go to the movies tonight, now that I think about it, because shit is going to hit the fan again like it did last night, it looks like. It was Brian that put it in chat. Where is he? Is he here? Where did I download it to? That's the question, because I don't remember. Hold on, Jason. I can't see the screen right now because I'm looking for a video. I think I downloaded it here. I have to clean up the mess. I downloaded a bunch of Rush clips from the first night with the new drummer. So it's a little bit of a mess. I'll find it. And it's gonna be a scorcher here today. It's gonna feel like 100 with the heat index. That's why I wouldn't go to the movie theater now. I'm gonna go in the pool. Okay. What? The source? Oh, okay. Cancel. That was bizarre. Okay, let's try it now. So it was Brian who put this in chat last night. The link, and then I downloaded the video. Oh my God. But see, that needs to be done. We got to take the Strait. Got to take the card away from Iran. They're toast. If the Strait is taken, they're done. Iran is done. It's over. Kava wants my recipe for my potato salad. Do you really? Yes, but that's drinking water to how all those countries, you have to deal with that. Well, I don't think they're talking about blowing it up. They're talking about taking it. They're not talking about like destroying Carg Island. They're talking about occupying and taking control of it. Good morning, Fringe. Dave. Spoiler alert by Dave. You don't know. You don't know what. I can't tell you, but I hate when I do that. I'll tell the story at a certain point, but there are things going on in Pine Bush that could make things difficult trying to make Pine Bush grow for festivals, conferences in the future regarding the UFO stuff. But it's the most, and I'm seriously gonna make some calls, because I do know people. I do not say that lightly. But I'm gonna try to reach out to other people that I never have. But before I do it, I'm gonna have to work in coordination with others, because I don't want to be doing stuff and overstepping things without coordinating with the people on the ground. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I have a plan. You don't want to know when a Bill has a plan. It's too early to call Mark. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning. I came up with an idea. I dreamt of Mark Danton. Did you guys? I know I'm a little low. Did anybody go watch Sky Tour live stream with Mark? Did any of you? No, Bill. They are letting. Oh no, Iran is. Oh no, I know about that. How there's oil streaks, is spillage all over by the Iranians. I know that. Yes, they are polluting it. It's bad. Yes. I thought you were referring if the United States takes card. But yes, Iran is definitely polluting the Persian Gulf. There's no doubt about that. What is it, French? How do you say I love you in Hawaiian? Come, I wanna. Oh my God! You almost made me say it. Fringe, that's a good one. You almost made me choke if I would have read the whole thing. Oh no. Here comes Mom. I gave her medication. I fed the dog. I fed the cats. Took the dog out. Yes. That could be sudden blood pressure. If you sit up off your bed, that's common. As you get older, if you sit up suddenly, it's a blood pressure flow, and you could get a little dizzy when you do that. That's a common thing as people get older. But you're not dizzy now, are you? Ma? Oh, God. Open the door. I can't hear you. I might have to go to take her to the hospital if she's... Are you dizzy now?
I'm hoping to see what's going on.
But I'm asking you, do you feel dizzy now?
No.
Okay. You felt dizzy when you were laying down and sat up? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what that is. The doctor told me. I told him about that. The doctor said that happens. It's a sudden blood pressure change when you sit up.
So who told you?
The doctor told me that because I told him about you complaining about that in the past, and he said that's because he sees nothing wrong with you. So he told me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any other problems, let me know because I'll take you to the hospital.
If I have what?
If it continues, I will take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because that's not something to mess around with.
Maybe it's the pressure. I think.
It is, and you took your blood pressure medication already this morning, so you should be okay. Just let me know. That's what I'm saying. Let me know. But don't panic. Don't get paranoid because that's the worst. Anyway, let me continue. I watch Guy to Alive sometimes. But I had a dream with Mark. I have an idea. And it came in my dream. And he has an amazing setup in his home, in his basement. You have to see his workshop. It's unbelievable. I've been there numerous times. He should, because he's got a lot of like planets that he's made. You have to see his setup. It's incredible. He should do a kids theme aimed astronomy show. And he's got all the props and break it down for children to get interested in astronomy. I think that would go over well for him. He's the perfect person to do it. He's got all the props. He's got a setup. And he could do a live thing with his camera on a tripod. I'll help him. If I have to go to Connecticut to help him set it up, I will. He's like an hour and a half from me. I think it would be a great idea. How are you, Moses? How are things? Now, see, I'm not going to talk about Moses, but Moses has been here since the beginning. He lives not far from Gaza. That man has been going through so much, and can you imagine on October 7th what he experienced? I'm just saying. I'm not going to talk his business. But can you imagine what that individual in chat has gone through? His family, his neighbors, friends, colleagues. He tells me sometimes he hears explosions and is shaking the house. And it happened a few days ago, last week. Remember, Moses? So my prayers go out to all of you. It's not just the Iranian people. It's the people over there too. Just saying. There's a lot of people affected. I dare not call him this early in the morning. Oh no, it's actually close to 10. I don't know if I'm going to go to the movies tonight. You know why, Ma? The president is threatening to do another strike in Iran tonight, and I don't want to miss this. So I want to see what happens. There's no way. What? What are they saying now? I'm going to have to look at Telegram. A lot of stuff is coming out. Let me just try to call Mark really fast. I'll go to the movies Monday. Oh no, I can't. I got a show. We're doing a show on Sunday. I'm not going anywhere today, Mom. I just said that. I don't know if he's awake. He should be. He's not a late sleeper. I still got to do something with the person I was going to have and talk about. Good morning. I'm live, so you know I am live. What are you doing? It's a little early, I know.
Not bad. What's going on?
I dreamt of you last night.
Why?
I had an idea in the dream.
You did?
The dream was you were doing a show in your workshop for children about astronomy.
That's interesting because our social media person has come up with a concept which I like, which is making books for kids on astronomy.
Okay. I have another idea, and I'll come to Connecticut if I have to help you. We should. I'm dead serious. We should do a stream in the basement with all those props you have, and do videos, even if they're pre-recorded. Upload them to YouTube and do children's astronomy like classes or lessons about stuff. I think it would go off very well. And then when the book idea comes, it just leads into the book part. In other words,
another part of it.
Huh?
There's another part of it that that this lady thought of, which is cool, and she's already investigating getting it done. And that is making little plushy models of the different planets for kids to buy.
Okay. Now, all of this could interconnect because if you start doing these videos, like talking about Earth and how the Earth works, rotation, the moon, and break it down really simple, make it fun. Then, when it's time for these plushy things and the time for these books, it all interconnects with links. And do you understand? It's all connected.
I do, and there's an affiliate company that's restarted called Thorngood Studios, and Cecil Thorngood is a professor that speaks to children. This is something that's pretty amazing you thought of this, because we've actually are putting it already in motion with Cecil Thorngood and Thorngood Studios.
That's crazy. I dreamt about this last night. That's why I called you. It's freaky. This is freaky.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, Sharon, the woman doing this, she's in our chats all the time. It's Sharon from Texas, Berlin, Texas. And she's, been really good. She's also a grant writer, and she's looking at getting us grants. Literally places like Walmart, who actually have grants for businesses. They do like $250 at Walmart but there's thousands of Walmarts around the country.
Mm.
So we're looking at that too. So it's pretty cool. Hoping that she actually does well for us.
Mm. What kind of phone do you have, Mark?
My phone is a
Is it a Android or?
it's a iPhone 12,
All right. How's the camera on it?
4K.
Okay. See the audio. This is just my opinion. We could set up a simple tripod with the phone and then have Bluetooth, some wireless lapel mic that goes tied to the stream, where you could walk around in your workshop, and they even have these gimbals that follow you. They're not expensive.
Yeah, Hunter has one actually.
Oh, dude, you could do some awesome stuff. We'll talk about it. It's just I had to call you because it was on my brain still from
I can tell.
dreaming about it.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. I was just telling them on the stream. I had that dream, and I have to call Mark. But yeah, we're gonna do. I know Margie's planning to do a special show, on the MUFON show on Sunday night. About Dave McDonald and Disclosure Day. I was gonna go today to see it, but the weather might get nasty later. Plus, the president has said today in a True Social that he's going to hit Iran hard again tonight. So we'll see.
Yeah, F around and find out.
Exactly. Dude, you don't even know. I was all amped up last night. I thought he was actually going to start taking the straight. But that was like the last warning to Iran. If you don't take the deal now, it's over. I'm done. I'm done talking. Done being delay. Taken as a sucker. He even said that. We're not going to be taken as suckers. I'm so happy that he's getting to that point now. It's go time, Mark. It's go time. That's it. I'm tired of hearing the regime. I'm tired of hearing all this nonsense. The rhetoric. They need to go once and for all. Period. Done. Over. Game over.
That's correct. I agree with that. They for 47 years they've imprisoned the people.
Yep.
It's about time to get freed.
Yep. So it's go time. Anyway, if you think about it, if you need help, I'm here.
All right.
And if you plan.
We don't have everything sewn up, obviously. So this idea and your perspective on it is always welcome. Trust me.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it more. And I swear, if I have to go to Connecticut to help you, I will.
Well, I can tell you that that's probably gonna be one of those.
We'll do it on the weekend. We could do it on the weekend when I don't have, or even during the weekday, because there's days I'm available where I can go. I'll go there early. I'll leave here like 8, get there by 9:30, and we'll do what we have to do, set everything up. I'll help you arrange, because you got some cool models too up on that shelf. You got a lot of cool stuff, man.
Yeah, we can make it look pretty interesting.
Yes, we could prop it up, set it up. I'm telling you, I think it's a starting point. It's also more content, and it's directed, and I think it connects to what the other thing you just told me about the books and the toys and all that. It's all intertwined. It's all connected. So
we have a second TikTok now too that we have, and we have a Thorngood Studios TikTok as well, and so that's actually 3 TikToks.
Dude,
so we got some.
I have 5. Do you have extra desktops in your house?
Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you don't need any of mine then.
Well, I've moved to mini computers for the most part, other than my main computer that I use for gaming. So I've got an extra mini computer which you can hook up and run anywhere in the house. Plus, I've got I got 1 computer on my laser cutter. So I had 5 computers running constantly here.
Okay.
Now I think I just have 3. I've got the main computer. I've got my secondary for the 3D printer in the other room, or the filament printer.
I think the best thing is, Mark, is we use the phone with wireless Bluetooth lapel mic where it can be heard. The audio quality is good, and like you said, your son has that gimbal that can follow you around, focus with you, and I think that would be more than sufficient. And it's an easy setup. All you got to do is get a nice size tripod with the thing that you screw the phone adapter on it where it holds it down, and it's probably a lot easier that way.
I don't even have to get a tripod. I've got a Bogan. I have a Bogan mount that I can sit on, and he actually he has from the TV station. He has 3 big professional fluid head tripods at his house.
Oh, so you have everything you need.
Yeah, we do. The only thing I don't have, he may have that lapel mic too, because they have a production company. He may have one actually.
You should talk to your son and figure it out, because then it's an easy setup for you. You just gotta set up your background and the props, and do that.
Yeah, I need some help with that.
I'll come. I'll come. I'll definitely. Let's talk about it. I'll take a trip, solo, and I'll come out there for a few hours, and we'll do what we got to do.
You mean you're not gonna bring Mom?
No. No.
You're not gonna bring Tycho?
No.
Because he has to pee on my leg.
Anyway, keep an eye on the weather tomorrow. They're saying the possibility of severe. There could be storms today, but tomorrow is the real threat for storms.
Okay.
But call me. Let's talk privately about this.
Yeah. So I've been running the telescopes now. I have 2 telescopes in one building out there now. The wide field system is now installed with the Benson telescope, and we took a donation, which we don't have yet, but we took a donation, or a promise, I should say,
Mhm.
for a much bigger telescope to go in a second building down in Benson, which we also have. So we have the second building available to us. And
What-
we're working on doing-
Whatever happened to the Colorado possibility?
Well, that's still going.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and they want yet an even bigger telescope than what we've been using. So they're ready to move on that. And I also, from a foundation here in Connecticut, I just won a $10,000 grant. Which
Wow. Oh, you told me about that. Yes.
I picked that check up yesterday, and it's already in our account. These guys are crazy.
That's
Next
awesome.
Next year they want to double it. So
Wow, that's awesome.
They love what we do.
Yep. I'm gonna mute for a second. I gotta tell you something. I'm unmuting now, but I think that is a great choice myself too.
Yes, I agree. That's actually what I was hoping for, actually.
Great. All right, go do what you gotta do. Hit me up. Let me know if you want to do a show Sunday. I honestly don't know. I gotta talk to the bosses, because I don't know if they want to extend the time more than the allotted time. It may bleed over. I have to find out first, because they're definitely doing a special on this.
Okay.
But I'll keep you posted.
I'll participate in that special too, actually.
Oh, then I'm gonna make a call. It's too early now because they're Central Time. But Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. So I'll definitely make a call about that. That you would be willing to be part of that.
Oh, sure I will. Of course I will.
All right, listen. Have a great one. Call me if you need me.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks a lot. Great ideas.
Later, Mark.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that's crazy that I had a dream and he's talking about it. That's just bizarre. And let me see what you guys are saying now. Iran International, Iran considering going after Elon Musk assets. Are they? I mean, because of Starlink? Alexa, stop. It's already in the 80s here. I'm already getting hot in this room. What? Oh no, Moses. Oh my God. Yes, Mom takes blood pressure medication. Very low dosage. I'm the one who takes higher doses. She's at 5 milligrams. She's more scared, paranoid. Go New York, go New York. What a game last night, Josh. That is, I watched it. I watched most of it because I got off of here and I went to watch it. The fourth quarter, I was like, this is amazing. Because the game was over like at 11:30ish. What a game. Trump warns. Yes. Well, Al Jazeera is going based on what the Trump post was earlier on True Social. And things are taken out of context when they say things. You have to go right to the source, which is the president himself posting about it. Because like I said, things are taken out of context and spun. So he just posted what Fox News put. We need to watch this. He reposted the Fox News segment. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's share the screen. This was 42 minutes ago. He shared this. Let's hear it.
Let's head out to Tel Aviv, where Trey Yingst is standing by after speaking with the president hours ago, multiple times, including when the president was in the Situation Room. So, Trey, is it your understanding that there's a 3-day plan, a 4-day plan, or it's we're going to hit you until we get you back to the table plan?
Yeah, Brian, good morning. My understanding is that there's a new equation for the Iranians because they were unwilling to make a good faith deal at the negotiating table. And I asked the president if they don't sign the deal, what's going to happen? And he said, we'll bomb the S out of them tomorrow night. And so clearly President Trump is keeping the military option on the table if the Iranians are unwilling to make those concessions. But
Time out. That's exactly what I said earlier. So it looks like he got the message that they were not willing to sign a deal. It's not a deal. It's an agreement, the memorandum of understanding. So it looks like he got his answer. And that's why he's going to hit him hard again tonight. And this is probably going to play out every day. I'll hit them hard every night until they come to the table and agree. That's what it's looking like. I agree, Martin. And I think everybody here pretty much agrees that you cannot trust Iran in any deal. But I think that's what the president's doing now. If you don't come every day, and he'll hit harder. If you don't come now, we're tired of this bullshit. We're not going to be taken as suckers as far as being played as deal every day. If you don't take it today, you'll get hit harder tonight. You don't do it tomorrow, you'll get even hit harder. And that could be the pattern what we're seeing right now. Let's try to get them back to the table.
But again, this is a change in thinking. Rather than trying to force the Iranians into a deal that they've been unwilling to make so far, the president is now targeting these critical assets belonging to the Iranian regime. What we saw last night, broadly a shaping operation. You see the radar systems and the air defense systems taken out by not only Tomahawk missiles, but the fighter jets that were in the skies of Iran. The message that President Trump sent overnight to the Iranian regime: Iran does not control the skies of its own country. And when the president was speaking in the Situation Room with Fox News exclusively, he was joined by Vice President J.D. Vance and Special Envoys Kushner and Witkoff. And Vance told Fox News about the negotiation process. He said, we're certainly dealing with both. They at the very highest levels of the political leadership in Iran, but
which
also
means nothing.
the IRGC.
The that's important.
Trump administration right now has presented the Iranians with a deal that would ultimately open the Strait of Hormuz and curb their nuclear program. And what's interesting is this morning, following these powerful U.S. strikes against Iran, the Iranians came out with a statement saying they have closed the Strait of Hormuz. Well, they said that before, but the United States was taking millions of barrels of oil secretly out of the Persian Gulf. And so it gives you a sense of the Iranian propaganda that is coming out of Tehran as it relates to this war and the reality on the ground. And the reality overnight was that President Trump ordered these heavy strikes, not just against the southwestern part of the country, but President Trump tells me that some of the missiles actually hit just about 40 miles outside of the Iranian capital of Tehran.
So we've seen multiple operations now from our military intelligence. They start with cyber first, and then they go after the defense systems, and then they hit their actual targets, whether it is, a foreign leader or it is weapons facilities. Or a launcher. Do you get the impression, since they have only been targeting really the defense system, that the next phase, if they don't sign the deal, are the targets, the real targets.
Yes, I spoke with President Trump earlier in the day before these strikes began, and he told me he was getting closer to striking Iran's power plants and bridges because, again, Iran has been unwilling to sign this agreement. There was something interesting that happened overnight as the president gathered in the Situation Room. You can imagine how tense this is. He was joined by the vice president and his special envoys along with top generals, and they have a lot of information coming in. But at one point, when I first spoke with the president, he had to go briefly because he was getting an incoming phone call from Iranian officials in Tehran. And when the president called back, he described what that call was like. He said they asked him to stop the bombing because at that point, there were fighter jets over the skies of their country, and they lacked the ability to actually defend their own territory. And ultimately, the president was very clear. He'll stop bombing if they sign the agreement. It's a very clear equation.
Yep.
The Iranians overnight did, however, respond against Gulf countries and U.S. forces in Bahrain and Kuwait, as well as Jordan. According to the Jordanian army, 20 incoming Iranian ballistic missiles were shot down. But there was no damage caused to U.S. forces. And again, this speaks to the equation. Now, the backdrop here in all of this is quite important. And I spoke with President Trump about this as well. As these strikes are taking place and the Iranians are unable to control the skies of their own country, the U.S. naval blockade remains in effect, and it's crippling the Iranian economy. The exports for the Iranian regime are down about 90%. They're extracting crude oil at a 50% rate. And so not only was the president bombing them from the air overnight, keeping the naval blockade in place, and ultimately telling them you have one choice here at the negotiating table, sign the deal or the war resumes, but he was also communicating with regional allies about what was going on. He told me he spoke quickly with the Israelis. However, the Israelis were not involved in the strikes overnight. Guys?
So, Trey, I'm reading about, because you've said we were striking their air defense systems. Will you explain to the public, this is what the definition is based, will you just explain to the public what that means? These are
I don't know if I can
machines
keep
that
playing
will
this.
detect if there's a drone.
We can stop it and then play more of it because obviously it's Fox. Here's the thing. I would take a little bit of a different approach. I'm not picking up that phone from the Iranians unless they are going to make a deal, an agreement. It's not a deal, an agreement. Don't call me when you're in frantic pace trying to get me to stop the bombing. I would tell them, the only time I'm going to answer this call is when you're ready to sign the agreement, the memorandum of understanding. Until you do that, I'm not stopping. Because you could see, if it's true, they're in panic mode. But these are the politicians. But he said that the IRGC involved as well. That's the key. I don't know. We hear so many things. But if it's me, obviously he didn't get the answer he wanted because he said he's going to hit them hard again tonight. So that's pretty obvious, the response he got from the Iranians. If it's me, I am not talking to you, and I'm going to keep hitting you every night, every day. Not these calls, stop it. And what do they do after that? They try to strike Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain. We're not playing this game. I'm going to keep hitting you every night until you commit to signing the agreement, memorandum of understanding. That's it. No more talk. That's it. Apply the pressure. It looks like it's working, right? Why would you appease them and say, okay, I'm going to stop for now, but if you don't sign it, it's going to start again tomorrow? Forget about that part. If that's true, I'm not giving them that break. Because, they do want a deal. The whole point of this is a deal. But the deal is all about getting the Strait open. That's why I keep saying, take that card away from them. They have nothing. That's why last night I really thought we were going to try to take the Strait through force. Didn't work out that way. I was wrong. This will stop all this nonsense. Take the Strait back. Everything else falls in place. It's that simple. It's not as simple. It's easier said than done. But that is as simple as it gets. You take back the control of the Strait truly away from the Iranians, they have nothing they have nothing to play. They have no cards. Zero. None. Unless they secretly are developing a weapon that we're not aware of, and then they say, oh, we have another one. That's just my opinion. Okay, let me read what you guys are writing. Where's BB in this? He went to Ghost. Okay, Martin, the president does not want this to widen out to Israel. Israel's on standby. If Iran makes the critical mistake by now striking at Israel, then it's done. The president is taking the lead by the United States position of the deal. Israel needs to stay out of it right now. But if Iran strikes Israel, then Israel gets involved and the United States will be right by side with them while this is going on. So the last thing is for Israel to get involved, because then the president will say, I did not want you to get involved in this. Stay out of it. This is between us and them. And yes, the IRGC definitely threatens not just the Middle East. They threaten the whole freaking region, the world, Europe, everything else. The population of Karg Island is between 8,000 and 20,000 residents. Most of the island's inhabitants are civilian oil workers and their families. Yes. I've read that before. Oh, God, CNN. Official communicated with Trump that such an operation requires a significant number of ground troops that could potentially result in heavy U.S. casualties. Been saying that over and over, KJ. That's the risk. That's the hesitancy. That's common sense. Boots on the ground. It's higher risk. Casualties. Yes, that's part of it. It's always been part of it. He needs to just do it and stop telling them what he's about to do. Stop giving the game away. I've always complained about past administrations about exactly that. They're announcing what they're about to do. But that's his way of saying publicly, because he knows they're paying attention, if you don't come to an agreement, we're going to do this tonight. And they can say that because air superiority, they feel pretty confident that they can do what they can in Iran. You don't say it and announce it unless you have confidence that you can pretty much have somewhat, I don't want to say air superiority because they probably still have half of their radar installations operational. Who knows what the number is? I'm just coming up with a guesstimate. But you don't say that unless you have utmost confidence that you can carry out the strike, especially if you're using Tomahawks. But I agree with you. You don't just announce it. But he's doing that on purpose because he knows they're seeing his post. It's all over the Iranian media right now. Al Jazeera, all of them, because I count them as an outlet for the regime too. Because the Strait Island is more difficult. 150 population. Good morning, Chris. Exactly what happened to the art of surprise and not telling adversaries what your plans are or about to do. Me too. Don't tell them what you're going to do. I agree. But this is his way of dealing with it. And I was always upset when past administrations would announce it. We're going to evacuate in 2 weeks. What? Why are you announcing it? What kind of crazy blunder was that? Afghanistan. Biden. Announcing it. That is the most unbelievably... Oh my gosh. And you're putting people's lives at risk when you do that. Okay. Trump does that. They'll hacks over here and go over. Sure is taking the Strait Islands. Should really start taking the Strait Islands and work their way to Karg. Again, the Strait is the whole key of this. And good morning, Navy Mom. So, it looks like it's just going to continue. To force them to come to the table to make an agreement. This really looks like the objective here is to have them agree to whatever. We don't know what the president's terms are. I would like to know. I think we all would like to know what the U.S. is asking of Iran and what Iran is asking of us. We hear all the bullshit out there. We don't know. We don't know the exact details. Nobody's actually seen it. Only the people involved, negotiators, mediators, the people involved, both sides. But we really don't really know. It's all speculation. Oh yeah, it's this, nuclear, this, that, not nuclear. I thought Trump and Iran are making an agreement to end the war, and now he's starting up again. Why? Just why? Do you guys realize how frustrating I am right now? Again, first of all, like I said this many times, the ceasefire was put in place because it was the belief that Iran was then on the ceasefire going to open up the strait, and then the United States would stop the blockade. But Iran didn't do it. If you remember, that's exactly why the ceasefire went into effect, because it was thought that Iran would then open the strait under the ceasefire. But then everything got thrown into the game. And it just started to metastasize, and everybody's adding, well, we're going to add this to this now. The Iranians are saying they're going to add this to this, red lines. We have our red lines. They have their red lines. And just kept, the demands and asking just kept growing. And it never went anywhere. That's why we're at where we're at now, because they can't agree on the terms of an agreement just to meet. Because that's all this is. It's just an agreement to meet and negotiate on details, which could take months, if not years. But meanwhile, the strait is open. And Iran knows that's their only card, is the strait. And they're using it. And now they're using the deal itself as a card. So that's the two cards the Iranians are playing. If they give up those cards, they have nothing. You think they're going to give up those cards easily? That's the cards they're playing. And the only way that's going to happen is if you put them in a position, economically, whatever it is, to make them come to the table, force them to come to the table. That's the logic behind this. It's as simple as that. It really is. To force them to come back to the table to negotiate. Now, do you honestly think Iran's going to capitulate and do this? Maybe they will. Because they are really in critical state, especially when it comes to the economy. But then you have to ask yourself, do they care about the Iranian people? They only care about their own survival and paying off the military and keep going. And that's why. And you're not dealing with, I keep saying, you're not dealing with rational people. These are people that have raised the flag of revenge to their supreme leader. These are ideological nut jobs, to put it simply. We're not dealing with rational people here. How do you deal with irrational people to make a deal with, especially when they're a terrorist regime? Somebody explain to me how a deal is even possible with people like this. Explain that to me. Oh my God, best Iron Maiden song. Oh no, don't put me in that position. For me, oh my God. And it's not Fear of the Dark. A lot of people would say Fear of the Dark. It is not Fear of the Dark for me. I would have to say Hallowed Be Thy Name was always my favorite when I was growing up. I always loved that song. No, not Run to the Hills or some of the others, popular ones. I would have to say, just based on one of my favorites growing up, was Hallowed Be Thy Name. But there's so many. That's hard. That is hard. But why do you want to make a deal with terrorists who killed, 40, and I don't even think that number is true. I think it's higher. I don't think it's 45,000. It's what I don't think so. I think the number is actually higher than that. or more innocent people. So why make a deal with them in the first place? Again, a deal makes them survive longer. Iran is eventually, thinking about the regime's survival. Could that play a part in them eventually playing us along and saying, yeah, we'll make a deal, only to pull out 2 months from now, or 3 months from now, or 6 months from now, and then we're back to here? Meanwhile, they regroup, they become more emboldened, and the people of Iran suffer more. That's one way to look at it. They may eventually agree to a deal just to survive and prolong this even more. Delay, and then at some point during the negotiations say, we're not agreeing to this, pull out, and then we're back to this right now. And the strait will be threatened again, only to it is like Groundhog Day. Come back, full circle, stop, back to what? You like Run to the Hills? Run to the Hills is a great, like I said, it's tough. There's a lot of great songs. I mean, you can go back to the early songs with Diano. There's a lot of great songs. Never was going to be a deal he should have known. I still say the ceasefire should have never been put in place when you had absolutely applied all that pressure at that time and you gave them the out with a ceasefire that did not open the strait. That failed. Because people have short-term memories. Remember the talk when the ceasefire was agreed upon that Iran would open the strait. Do you remember that? It did not. The president said they will open the strait. They did not. Was that a strategic move on the president's part? Looks like Iran played them. They never opened it. And matter of fact, they were probably laying mines with the little boats while all that was going on. They took that opportunity to do that. Not with the big boats, the little ones. It's insane when you think about it. They got to get that border open so they can get their ships in. Dude, we need to take that straight with force. And you know what? All these countries that didn't participate, well, now you're going to have to go through us to pay. But then people say, oh, this is all about the oil, taking over the oil. There's a lot of ways to look at this. We have to work with the new Iran leadership. But don't you think the United States, by helping free Iran, is not going to get the inside with the new leadership? Of course they would. I would think so. This is in Iraq, right? What a mess that was. Oh my God. Oh, I love the Trooper. I love the Trooper. That's up there. Definitely. Definitely. The Trooper is probably right up there with me. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. It was a little long of a song. That Power Slave album was actually really good. It is tough to pick. Oh my goodness. So just messaging happens when mom listens, pattern continues. Let's see what they're saying on TikTok and stuff. I may have to put the air on. The heat is... Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
It's 85 degrees.
85 already.
Heat
advisory in effect.
Today until 8 p.m.
Till
Friday,
8
heat
tomorrow night.
Up to 100 expected.
100 degrees it's going to feel like. You know I'm not sitting here long. Going out in that pool. All right, let's see. Let's see what they're saying. Oh, this is crazy. So the other media outlet, it's not, but they share the same post pretty much. Put what Donald Trump posted, the president posted earlier on True Social. Then, an hour ago, they posted this. New. The U.S. will attack Iran every night from now on until it makes a deal. Wall Street Journal. That's exactly what I just said. Literally, I just said that, and it's on here. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that. What is this? There's no way to make this stop except go all out against the Arab oil and energy infrastructure in the region. So now they're saying they're going to attack. This is a suggestion, a comment from one of the other side saying we're going to have to attack the Arab countries' oil infrastructure in the region. This is new. The president of Syria and former ISIS leader Ahmad al-Sharaa, has been invited to visit the White House on June 14th. What is June 14th? What's the significance of that date? Seriously? He's inviting the Syrian president? Isn't that his birthday? When is the UFC event? Okay, KJ, what are you putting in here? Oh, the Elon Musk thing? I'm not going to go crazy with that. They have more important targets than to hit Elon's. Much more important targets than they might do it, but they're focused on more important critical infrastructure than just Elon revenge of Starlink or anything else like that. That's just to make it because of his name. I'm not buying into that. Whoa. President Trump, it could be the greatest deal in history. They could wave the white flag of surrender. They could say, we surrender, we're finished, and we had it. The United States is the greatest power, praise be to Allah. Did he just post that? They're running with it. Whatever it is, did he say this in an interview? What the hell is this? It is 14th, the UFC. He's inviting the Syrian president to attend the UFC. That is off the scale. That is really off the scale. Why is it saying that? I don't see that. I don't see where that's coming from. I don't see that on his True Social. I don't know whether he might have said that somewhere, but I'm not seeing it on True Social. That's what they just wrote on their side. Did he say it yesterday? Iran bombs the Kurds in Erbil with drones. Breaking. This is how long ago? 2 hours ago. Iranian channels report exchanges of fire between the IRGC and the U.S. Army in the Strait of Hormuz. At the same time, an explosion was heard a short while ago on Sirik Island. This was posted this morning. But this sounds like it happened yesterday. That's a mere Israeli reporter who's saying that. I don't know. Unless something's going on again. I don't think so. I don't know. They're all saying that the same thing that is from his True Social post. They're running with it. Everybody's running with it. And that's it. I'm not going to the movies tonight. I want to see if anything develops tonight. Oh my God. Really? 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 Like that's going to help? Are they suckers? Iran is definitely going to hit your infrastructure. They're using you to try to put pressure on the United States. If Iran hits their infrastructure, they're hoping that all these Arab countries will force the United States to stop. I don't know about force, convince the United States to stop. Are they stupid? You're trying to talk to Iran to de-escalate? They're using you. I mean, you got to wonder sometimes on the stupidity. Oh, Uncle Lindsay's talking a lot. And this is, but I agree, because I was saying this. One leads to the other. Graham said the combination of keeping the Strait of Hormuz open and controlling Karg Island's operations by force of blockade, I don't know about blockade, you could block it, would be the most consequential move Trump could make to regain leverage and end the conflict on favorable terms. Time is of essence, he said on X. But if you take the Strait and you take the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman, all you got to do is create a blockade around Karg Island. You have control of the entire area. You don't have to even risk putting forces on the island. If you take back the Strait of Hormuz by force and you move on naval vessels through the Strait and into the Persian Gulf where Karg Island is, it's moot. They lost their card. They're done. Yeah, they can still threaten it with drones and missiles, but we have the capability of defending against that with our ships and air and other assets. Take that card away. This is what KJ was referring to about Elon. Iran is considering adding assets linked to companies managed by Elon, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, in the Middle East, including Arab states and Israel, to its new target bank. Farr said the move was being considered after what it described as proof that the U.S. and Israeli militaries had used infrastructure managed by Musk, including Starlink. Of course, it's all about Starlink. The outlet said Starlink ground stations in Israel, Qatar, Jordan, the UAE, and Oman, along with the infrastructure linked to SpaceX shareholders, were among new Iran targets. They're not happy with the whole Starlink thing. That's what that's about. But to me, this is typical rhetoric coming from Fars, because that's the source, Fars. Typical. They have more, if they're smart, which we don't even know if they have any intelligence, they're not going after that. They're going after main targets, like more important targets, to cause major damage to the energy infrastructure. And if they're crazy enough, even the desalination plants for the Arab country, because that would cause absolute chaos. Not Elon Starlink related stuff. That's stupidity. That's just bullshit right there. That's nonsense. It's going to be hot over there. me see what you guys are writing. Tucker Carlson. Iran is now more popular in some Arab countries more than it was before the war. Yeah, which countries are those? Lebanon, Yemen, Oman. God only knows what that's in reference to. And it's Tucker. I don't know what happened to Tucker with his... I don't get it. It's so confusing, the Tucker thing. I don't understand what happened. And they run his interviews on state-run media in Iran. I mean, he's being used totally as a propaganda mouthpiece. What happened with Tucker? The Yemen government is also shooting protesters. What? According to breaking news, Defense Secretary John Healey has resigned. Somebody mentioned that early from the government in a devastating rebuke to Keir Starmer's leadership. Somebody referenced to that earlier. I mean, he don't care, and I bet he does it so they will run with it. It does not hurt Elon one bit. That is stuff he sold to other countries. They hit it, he would just sell more. This is a sidebar story just to put Elon's name in it. It grabs attention. This is an attention-grabbing hit piece. That's all that is. They're not going to waste their missiles, whatever they have left, on hitting Elon targets. They're going to go after more vital targets. That's just nonsense. It's nonsense. They have, if think about it rationally, they have definitely more prioritized target list than Elon Musk's Starlink investments or anything tied to Starlink. That is just BS. And, that's farce. That's what they do. The propaganda is going to come. I said this last night. It's just going to get more bizarre as this goes on every day now. It's just going to get more crazy. I just can't believe what happened last night. And we all said that's bullshit. When the reports were coming in that a naval vessel got hit, and it turned out to be oil tankers, but there were outlets running with it. But we said that's bullshit. But they ran with it. That's bad. What? Wait a minute. What is this? I don't know about this one. Iran International is talking about it. We need to share this one. I was not aware of this. 3 missing Indian seafarers were confirmed dead after a U.S. military strike on a tanker off the coast of Oman, Indian shipping minister said on Thursday. Families born Indian seafarers killed in U.S. strike off Gulf of Oman. Well, were they carrying Iranian oil? What? This makes my blood curl. We are talking to them and all, but look, my preference has always been take Karg Island. My preference would be that. I don't know that America has the stomach for it. See, that's it. He's worried about the casualties, boots on the ground. That's what he's probably referring to. Trump said the United States would attack Iran again with intensified strikes on Thursday night, but added that he would rather not hit bridges and power plants. There will be more bombing tonight. It will be bigger, more powerful. Despite plans for more strikes, Trump said the United States was still talking with Iran to reach a deal. Oh my God, I can't take it. Exactly. Why did they run? And trust me, he's not. Let's be clear. He's still trying to make a deal, but on his terms. It doesn't look like he's caving into any of his terms, the president. That's why Iran, I don't see how they have their red lines. I don't see how this changes. Again, the idea is, and the Wall Street Journal is reporting, and I was talking about it earlier, he's going to hit them every night. Every night. Bigger, stronger, powerful, whatever, to try to get them back to the table. Do you guys think that's a logical, rational way of doing this? Do you think that's going to work? And if it does, how long does it take? Do you think that's a strategy that's going to work? This is what he said. They have no defense. They can't do anything about it. We dropped 250 million worth of bombs on them last night. They're in submission. They just don't know it yet. Well, if they don't know it yet, it's because they don't want to give in. They know it. They know what's going on, but they're not going to give in. There's a difference there. They just don't know it yet. Yes, they do. They just don't want to capitulate, and they don't want to surrender, and they don't want to give in. That's the difference. It's not they don't know it yet. They know it, but they're looking to survive and do whatever it takes, even if they have to die in the cause, in the martyrdom. That's the difference. We're not dealing with rational people. He has to realize that. There's a difference that they don't know it yet. They know it. I don't know if you know it, but they know it. This is all about survival of the regime. But they even say, oh, there's been regime change. Technically, yes, but I don't. It's confusing. I'm so glad that somebody in the UK is speaking out. British lawmakers pressed the government on Thursday to push new state threat legislation through Parliament. We talked about this earlier, but this is a newer. With peers citing Iran-linked attacks on British Jews and journalists, it's cut off. Lord John Cryer called the IRGC homicidal maniacs, I'm so glad somebody's saying, and urged ministers to move the bill forward sharpish, pointing to the recent conviction of 2 men for a knife attack on the Iran international journalist. And then this House guy, David Hanson, said the legislation passed by both houses could lead to sentences up to 14 years. Something's got to get done in the UK. Something's got to get done in the UK for the sake of the people. The whole people. The Indian ship. Yes, Mom. Good link to put for chat, Faye. Thank you. It's very hot outside already. This is the link. If you guys want to check it out, Faye put it. Dissolve Google. Put this link in chat if you want to read this article. But this is coming from Indian Express. I'm going in soon. I'm not. It's getting hot in the room. The rats have already said they are prepared to die before they surrender. Yes, Dave. But I don't understand that. Do we realize who we're dealing with here? They'd rather die than to ever surrender or capitulate to the United States. The enemy, the great Satan. Are you kidding me? Do we understand this? Middle East Observer. That's where I get a lot of my stuff from Telegram, Brian. You know that. Okay. Let's look at this. Oh, this is Middle East Observer. I already fed them in front of the house, Mom. I'm live.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Head of the National Security Committee in Parliament on Trump's threats. This is why I said we got to get rid of all these people in these Parliament and the National Security Council, the Assembly of Experts, the Judiciary Council, the IRGC, the Mouse Jr. You gotta eliminate these fuckers. That's the only way this changes. Their assurance is normal because he lacks real power cards. Trump has not achieved any significant gains, neither in the Ramadan war nor in recent days. Trump's record in this conflict is almost devoid of achievements. Trump incurred very high costs without the American people gaining any tangible benefit. Trump must realize that he's dealing with Iran, which is a united front standing as one. It's all bullshit. Any uncalculated step will be met with more painful response than before. Trump threats are nothing but illusions, and he realized that any potential Iranian response could have unbearable consequences for him. This is all...
You want the door open?
No. This is all ridiculous rhetoric. This almost sounds desperate. This sounds desperate to me. This sounds desperate on their part to me. It sounds delusional to me, actually, what that was just saying. Doesn't even make any sense. Trump does have his own... What? His own what? I can't see that without my glasses. I can't make out that one word. His own terms?
Alexa, turn the lights on in the other room.
Ma, I'm live. Why are you doing this?
Because I thought you needed it. You
No,
said
no, I
you
need my
needed it.
glasses. Alexa, shut off living room light.
Now it's on.
Okay.
But the question about it is if his terms will go from bad to worse terms, but who knows if Iran has their own terms as well. But that's the thing, they've been changing. Every time somebody says something, they change the text of it, and then the president responds and he rechanges the text on it, and it's going back and forth. That's what's been going on. None of them can be trusted. They're all rats. I totally agree, Brian. Gotta go. Have a great one, Navy Mind. My love to everyone. Yes. Blessings to you and, the usual, your son, everybody over there. The Indian should have plenty of warnings to turn back, but just ignored the Navy. Whose fault is that? Not ours. If they didn't abide by our probably multiple warnings, that's on them. That's on them. They defied the warnings. And I'm sure there were numerous warnings. And they didn't comply. Whose fault is that? Well, you think this is a game? You're putting your own people at risk by doing that. That's why when I hear about Pakistan and some of these other countries getting involved, how do you trust them? If I wanted to do some mediation, I'm going to Geneva. You want to talk about on neutral? Let's go to Switzerland. Let's talk there. I'm not going to Pakistan. I'm not going to Oman. I'm not going to Turkey. I'm not going anywhere here. I mean, we might do it in Saudi, but you think the Iranians want to go to Saudi Arabia? I don't trust anyone in that region. Now, Jordan has been a great ally to the United States. Just look at what's going on in Jordan with all our assets there. Jordan has been a true ally for the United States. I don't doubt Jordan. But to be honest, I doubt the rest. Now, and this is the Arab. Do you guys trust any of these Arab countries? Because I wouldn't be surprised they go in what we tell them, they go right to Iran. Do you think I'm trusting them? I'm not trusting them. That's just me, though. It would have been easier to negotiate if they didn't wipe the Ayatollah out day one. There would be no reason to negotiate if the Strait of Hormuz wasn't taken hostage by Iran. This would be over already. That's Iran's only card. There would be no negotiations if the strait is open. The whole point of negotiations is to open the Strait of Hormuz. It's that simple. It's not even complicated. Forget about the Ayatollahs and everybody else. Iran that's their only card right now. And the deal is also part of it because it's all back to the Strait of Hormuz opening. That's all this is about. Iran has no other cards to play. They lose the Strait. They lose everything. They're done. It's as simple as that. That's the only thing that's keeping this going is the Strait for them. They lose that card. They lose their leverage. They lose their leverage. They lose control. It's common sense. They say it to make us look bad. One thing, it enlightens us to who, yes, it also exposes who your enemies are and who are not. It definitely exposes. Would the U.S. negotiate with the country that just deleted, what? An 80-year-old man with his family? Would the U.S. negotiate with a country that just deleted an 80-year-old man with his family? The United States have relations with Saudi Arabia, who have been criticized for their human rights violations. But are we going to take one instance of one person passing away? It's almost like Star Trek. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. You got to look at the entire picture. You can pick and choose instances of cases that happened, accidents, people. You got to think of the whole. It's easy to nitpick and say, well, they did this or they did this, but what about affecting the whole? Of course there's going to be cases, individual cases of things happening. Is that going to change the whole picture of everything else going on? And it's not to minimize that, because everything is serious, but you're not going to base foreign policy about one incident or 2 incidents or 5 incidents. Because incidents, unfortunately, happen. You don't base foreign policy based on 1 incident or 5. You have to think of the whole picture, not just a little sliver of it. It's the overall effect. Would you notice? Okay, I read that. If Iran drones strike the U.S. president with his family, would the U.S. then negotiate with Iran? If they remember, they've already tried to attempt the president's life, and I think they're connected numerous times. They threatened his daughter's life and her family. They weren't successful. If that were to happen, Iran would be leveled. There would definitely be no negotiation. But I understand your point about taking out the supreme mouse. I get it. And actually, we're not supposed to assassinate leaders. But we didn't do it. Israel did. Remember that. We did not do it. We gave the intelligence to Israel. Israel's the one that carried out the attack that took out the Ayatollah. It wasn't us. To be clear. But we provided the intelligence to Israel. Let's see. If we get something out of it, then hell yeah, we negotiating. The only reason negotiations is happening, KJ, is to open the strait. That's the bottom line. Whatever the agreements are. Remember, this is just an agreement to negotiate. This is not a deal. It's just to meet and work on an actual deal. What's really sad is we can't even treat their soccer team with respect during the World Cup. That is sad. I agree. My gosh. Let them play the freaking game without harassing them. I agree with that. This is the World Cup. They're players. But they're being used as political pieces in the whole thing. Now, obviously, they're going to do the due diligence of background checks and all that, but I don't get that either. I don't. I mean, let them play the game. My God. United States didn't give us information. The Mossad knew where he was hiding. Well, that's the narrative, Moses, that was said here. That we did help provide intelligence. Because even before it happened, the president even said, we know exactly where he is. Do you remember that? And they share intelligence. But I wouldn't jump so quickly to say Mossad is one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. I'm sure they knew too. So yeah, I'm sure they knew his whereabouts as well. It's just like right now, they probably know about the whereabouts of others, working with people on the ground in Iran to keep an eye on where the movements are of individuals. So I'm not surprised at that. But again, spin is another thing. Everybody spins. Everybody does the spin. And I don't know necessarily that's a good thing that Israel wants to take credit for taking out the Ayatollah as their sworn enemies. That just gives Iran even more incentive to go destroy Israel. Because that is their ultimate goal, the annihilation of Israel. Now you just gave them another reason. Just saying. What's up, Nappy? Nappy, it's not Tuesday, it's Thursday, just so you know. Just saying. Who's listening to me? Nappy. Good morning, Marco. So, we'll see what happens tonight. It's getting really hot in here. Let's see what happens tonight. The president said he's going to strike them hard again tonight. Not that I agree with him announcing it, but I think he has no worries about announcing it because he feels very confident that we can just go and fly anywhere we want over the area. It's not like Iran doesn't expect it. It's not like it's a surprise either way. They pretty much know it's coming. And I think the president's like, they know it's coming and they still can't do nothing to stop it. He's showing that defiance and confidence somewhat in our military. Again, you can view this from so many different opinion points of view. You could dissect it and look at it in so many ways, and a lot of it would be valid. It's just all about perspective and point of view. It really is. What's this? Oh, that they're talking about the Apache with the drone and how that all went down. We covered that yesterday. That's like old news that he's talking about now. But that was bizarre. It's getting really warm in here. I'm getting the heck out of here. Well, at least he's saying this. This is, at least he knows. I'd rather not do it as far as hitting power plants and bridges. I'd rather not do it because once you do that, the people suffer. My message to the Iranian people is that they're afraid because they have no guns and the other side has guns and they have a rally and they get shot. To put it very simplistically, yes. It would be very risky for them to come out right now because they're not ready to do so. What is it, Ma? It is very hot. Go the water. You should go in the pool. So, you know, at least he's identifying that part because the people will suffer. So that's good that he recognizes that, because that will turn everyone, even those that cheer his name in Iran, that will change. That could change everything. Good morning.
Did you see Tycho?
Oh, here she goes with the Tycho question every day. Tycho's fine. He's in the other room. Oh, they already started. That's right. New Zealand lost? Is this what we're talking about? What are we talking about now? Oh, that you're saying that you're predicting New Zealand loses.
Dame un cigarrillo.
Not right now. I have to make them.
No way.
I have to make them.
No, Billy, you so, you know.
And enter to the joy. Good afternoon to you as well. If I'm reading that right, I'm having a problem trying to. And enter into the joy. Yes. Don't consider Trump a person deserving to exchange messages with. I have to respond. I have no response for him. I will not answer him. That makes that clear. I mean, Qatar has nothing to do with this conflict, and they get targeted for no reason. That's not the Iranian way of looking at it. If Iran attacks the Arab countries, they think by doing that, the Arab countries will not pressure the United States to stop the conflict because they're getting attacked, their infrastructure. Iran is trying to use them to put pressure on the president, saying, listen, you got to stop this. They're attacking our infrastructure. That's why they're drawing them in. Because you got to remember at the beginning, it was a lot of these Arab countries that were trying to speak to the president to work for a diplomatic solution. So they're using that as some kind of a leverage. Iran thinks that by doing that, they can manipulate the Arab leaders to then go back to the president and tell whatever they're going to say to him to try to look for a diplomatic solution. Stop this. It's making it worse for our countries. They're destroying our infrastructure. This, blah, blah. That's the whole plan from Iran's point of view. That's why they're doing it. It's not just the U.S. bases. It's the infrastructure they're worried about. And the water plants. That would be absolutely devastating for all of them. And if the blame would go to the United States, well, you see, because you supported them, you had their bases there, this is your fault. It's not our fault because you decided to do this. It is crazy. I heard it's Israel attacking the pro-Western Arab states to push them closer to U.S. Wait. I heard it's Israel attacking the pro. That's not true. That is not true. That is totally conspiracy. And states to push them close to U.S. Israel, but who knows? That ghost, no. They even tried to say what happened in Kuwait at the airport was something else until the footage came out showing the drone, the Iranian drone, hitting the roof of the airport terminal and exploding. They tried to deny they were responsible for that. And then, oopsie, there's video, lie. They even tried to say it wasn't them. Then they owned up to it when the video came out. It was clear. You seen the thing coming, boom. They couldn't deny it then. Then they admitted it. I'm trying to read. My eyes are hurting. I'm not wearing my readers. Hard to make a deal with someone that has no respect for another leader. But do you think they actually respect each other? I mean, honestly, do you? Both sides. They mistrust everything. There's no trust on either side, to be fair. I mean, that just goes without saying. And if we're gonna go back to 1967, because I had to find out what year it was with the Liberty thing. That's pretty sad. Shit happens. That's like saying when a plane is mistaken for something else that happened recently, that Iran took down a passenger plane, or we took down a plane in the past. Yes, accidents happen. Was it done on purpose? That's the question. So we could look back at past incidents and say, well, let's look at this. I don't necessarily care about the past. Yes, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Blame, deflection, because that's what it's about. This isn't Afghanistan. This is going to be another Afghanistan. There's going to be another Iraq. There's going to be another Vietnam. That can go on forever. We have to deal with what's going on right now. I can blame Biden, Obama, Clinton, Bush. It goes on and on. Carter, Reagan even, supplying and building up Saddam Hussein. Iran-Contra, supporting the Afghan rebels, building them up in the resistance in the war against the Soviets in Afghanistan. How'd that turn out? You could go back in time and pick out so many different things that happen. I'm looking at the now and how this leads to the future and how we deal with this moving forward. Retrospect is one thing. Armchair quarterback and being critical of things that have happened in the past. Everyone does that. And from a different perspective, a different opinion. The past is the past. It's what the present and the future dictates right now. And it's all talking points. And a lot of it is deflection. And trying to spin it to work in favor of their current position. I'm not falling into that. I want to know what happens from this point on for the world, for the region, for individual countries, for our country, Iran, the whole region, everybody. That's what matters right now. To me, at least. And yeah, I'm with you on that, Dave. Go look up, and I don't want to get drawn out into a whole thing. Look how much money Qatar was supplying to Hamas. Funneling money. Go look it up. But they have a strategic importance to us. But they are in bed. They play both sides. Look at Turkey. Look at some of these other countries. So, like I said, this is multi-layered. This is complicated. When was the Abraham Accords put in place and the Saudis were negotiating to be part of it? Then October 7th happened. Did they do that so the Saudis would not participate and be part of the Abraham Accords? Look into that. I don't want to do it right now because I'm going outside soon and getting out of this hot house. The Pakistan was briefly, locked down due to a potential hazardous material incident. What? Exactly, John. That's what I'm saying. It's exactly. I totally agree. But, people will use the past to try to make a talking point and trying to demonize or legitimize whatever it is. Multiple Pentagons locked down, evacuated due to hazardous materials incident. Hazardous material incident. Air quality issue necessitating precautionary measures. But they're definitely going to evacuate the whole thing. Police in the building are wearing gas masks and full chemical protective gear. Breaking story. What the hell happened in the Pentagon? What is the source of the hazardous material? Hazardous materials incident. Actually, I'm going to do this on X. Hold on. I want to see if there's any updates on this on X. It is getting really hot in here. Okay, time out. We need to look at this. 30 minutes ago. Arlington Fire. What is this? The PFPA's hazmat team during hazardous material incident. Now, I don't usually go based on what they say, but the local county fire officials are saying it. The Pentagon has sophisticated systems to ensure the safety of the building and its occupants. Those systems have detected an air quality issue necessitating precautionary measures until we determine its significance. They're following standard protocols, including a shelter-in-place order for the affected area. For your safety, employees between corridors 4 through 7 on floors 2 through 5, A to E rings need to remain in place until we receive results from our tests. This additional testing could take 1 to 2 hours. Response teams are in place and ready to support building occupants if necessary. You may observe response personnel from multiple agencies and precautionary measures taking place in the center courtyard. Please do not interpret these activities. Follow all PFPA officers' directions and remain clear of the area. Further instructions will be provided. Thank you for your patience, cooperation. So this was issued. Wow. To the Pentagon employees. Holy shit. What's going down here? Wow. This is definitely breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Who is this? Who put this? Brian? Thank you. Or Dissolve? Faye, thank you for providing this. Wow. This is, I want to know what the heck is going on here now. And how it got into the building, if so. And by whom? Because they got cameras everywhere. Surveillance equipment. So this is going to be interesting to see what this is about. They may say, I'm just saying, to try to cause calm, they may say it's a false alarm. No threat found. After test, it's safe to return or whatever. Suspected hazardous materials. But what is the source? We're going to find this is going to be developing. I bet you is it on the media? I'm not looking at my TV, but is this being covered on mainstream media? Or are they talking about something else? That tells you everything about the mainstream media. I don't even want to try. I should. I am going to the TV, which I never do. I want to see what CNN, MSNBC, I bet you Fox is covering it. I want to just see. I'm very curious how the media is responding. Now, CNN is definitely talking about it because they're putting it out there, so I'm assuming CNN is covering it. Assuming.
You have to 22 for a free quote.
Let's go to CNN. Okay, I found it. Situation room.
Made search. Searching and booking
Commercial.
flights
Let me
as
go to
simple
Fox.
as booking a hotel.
Fox
Just type
gotta
in
be
the
covering
location and find the closest airport.
Let's just be
What
curious.
the president's announcement means for oil markets and why prices actually
Now they're
could
talking
use,
about
not spiking
the president
higher in
saying that we
markets
took
right now.
on a secret mission millions of barrels of oil. We've taken out millions of barrels of oil every night.
Trump administration from averting what could have been a major
Trump reveals secret oil mission in Hormuz. That's what Fox is talking about right now.
oil out of the Strait of Hormuz by the cover of night, is something of what
Uses AI to make
Commercial on
websites so
CNN.
fast it'll blow my customers' noggins while they're shopping for goggins for their.
There's no indication that this is any kind of, as far as we can tell, an attack. They're just.
This is
following
MS.
issue in the Pentagon.
What is it called?
Could
MS
be
Now.
suspicious. It could also be.
They are talking about it. Has materials incidents happening at Pentagon.
We're not hearing anything about this being any kind of attack.
They're downplaying it and saying it's not anything related to an attack. I just posted that on the screen that we seen.
Is supporting a Pentagon hazmat team during what they're calling a hazardous materials.
Let me check News Nation.
Have we seen some tickets start at around $60?
They're talking about the World Cup.
To the thousands. State officials in New York and New Jersey are investigating this.
I'm actually
The president
surprised.
says welcomes any review and believes its system will hold up. Happening this week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead a U.S. delegation to the U.S. men's national soccer team first.
I'm not
World Cup
seeing.
match.
It's News Nation's not talking about it.
U.S. men's team take on Paraguay. Secretary Rubio will meet with the president of Paraguay.
MS Now.
Effort to secure a strong
I would say I know as MSNBC. I didn't know MS Now, whatever the hell that is.
What don't you know about the making of toy?
So MS Now
Armed
is
field
definitely
teams
on
for
it.
this, but we just don't know what the cause of this was. And Sean Parnell's statement is, again, just describing it is this is a standard protection protocol they're following to determine what caused this air quality issue.
That's a ventilation. Sounds like a ventilation issue.
For people in the Pentagon.
Yeah, David, we don't know very much right now. It sounds like they don't know a whole lot based on what they're able to share at this point. Stand by. I want to bring in Priya Srithar.
All right, so
Pentagon
MS
correspondent.
Now is covering it.
Could take 1 to 2 hours, so it may be a little while. before
CNN
we
is covering
understand
it.
What it is exactly that was happening here? If there really was an incident,
News Nation
that
is not.
resulted in this.
And that's been something that he's talked about all during
Fox
this war.
News
Bill
isn't
Flynn,
yet.
Always great to have you.
Let's
I'll
see.
see you next
Let's see
time.
what the next segment is. She talks about.
All right, we do have other breaking news. I want to go back to the White House right now. And you're looking at the First Lady Melania Trump. She is launching Fostering the Future Care Accounts, a new financial vehicle.
Why
for
is
youth
Fox
in
not
foster care
covering
as
this?
Part of her Fostering and Future platform, and talking about those Trump accounts as well. This is, I should correct.
But they're starting to cover it. Let me see. What are you guys talking about? I'm going in the pool. Remember, faulty HVAC could send that code. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Ventilation, Mad Million. It's exactly what I'm thinking. Do you know that happens a lot in public housing in New York City? Fox is going to cover it very soon. Cover what? Dissolve. Let's see what Eric is saying. Yeah, that's exactly what Fox. Oh, so Fox reported on it earlier, right before I put it on the TV. So there you go. Who did that? Faye. Thank you. So they did. Fox did jump on it. That's exactly who was on just now. I was watching, but they probably hadn't talked about it already before I put the TV on. There is a hazardous materials incident at the U.S. Pentagon. The hazmat team is now responding. All hands on deck. But, pray nobody's harmed. We don't want to become alarmists and make this bigger than what it is. I'll say that. I'm not doing that. Let's just see the facts before we start reaching any kind of scary conclusions. Let's pray for everybody that everything's okay. That I agree. It could be. It could be. We have to find out why this happened. Eugene is like reported what? Sorry, Eugene. I'll just put this on the screen so you could kind of look. That's what they were just showing on the screen. The hazmat incident. This is the local fire on the scene. Their team is currently operating at the Pentagon. Pentagon has been locked down. This is the statement they gave to employees, telling them what's going on, where to avoid. Don't be alarmed if you see teams coming together in the courtyard of the Pentagon. So yeah, this is what's going on right now. But it's way, way, way early to determine what is the cause, what happened here. Can't jump, we can't, go cray-cray here. And what is the exact time this occurred? Look at Al Jazeera. Oh my God. Oh my God. Try not to connect this to anything to do with Iran. Al Jazeera is running with it. Oh my God. It's all over the media. Fox News, everybody's covering it, Eugene. There is an incident. Even the local hazmat team from the fire department is there. The Post, that's a conservative outlet from New York City. They're all running with it. New York Post, owned by Rupert Murdoch, Fox News. Building systems detected an air quality issue. That could be anything. That's why. Let's calm down. Like somebody said in chat. Calm down. It could be a very simple. When the codes go off, it's going to make this go. This is going to go into effect. Now, what set it off? That's the question. But this could be something very simple. What's up, Ryder? Yeah, it's nothing like that. That's what I mean. It could be a very simple reason. It could be the filtration. Air quality alert can mean anything. It could be that one of the systems is down and it's creating an effect on the air quality overall in the building. It could be a faulty error. It could be anything. We can't jump to the conclusions that this is some kind of a major life-threatening event. You know what I mean? That's like my air conditioning unit. It puts off a code when the filter needs to be changed. That's an air quality alert in a simplistic form. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know if this is something they would use as a distraction. Exactly what Brian's saying. It could be anything. We have to wait till more information comes out, but it's going to make headlines because it's at the Pentagon. And he's like, ooh, something's going on at the Pentagon. We have to chill out. And it's probably going all over the place. Hold on. Now, this is what an Israeli reporter is saying. We're getting away from the Pentagon story till more information comes out. Amir put this out a half hour ago. Coming from Reuters. The U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne, known as the Devil's Division, is expected to soon take control of Iran's oil islands. How he's reaching this conclusion from Reuters is beyond me. Nah, this is what I mean. Oh, and it's translated. Spokesman for the National Security and Foreign Policy Committee in the Iranian Parliament. This I can't repeat it enough how we have to get rid of all of them. Feels confident and responds to President Trump's threat. The great people of Iran do not surrender. No, the regime doesn't surrender. The one who must surrender in this campaign is America, without any doubt. Trump has no more than two options. Either he surrenders or he surrenders. So this is the tough talk rhetoric out of the parliament in Iran. That just came out 10 minutes ago. And it's an actual post. It's translated. Anybody that can read this, because I can't. Well, he's releasing this because there's an actual post to it. But as far as the 82nd Airborne, but he's taking it from Reuters. It's not an Israeli source. It's an Israeli reporter reporting on what Reuters reported. Bean. Another thing too, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist person. You know what? And Eugene is touching on what I was just going to say. And I'm not all about false flags and conspiracy. I am not. But what if, and I don't even want to say it because I'm not that type of person, that this is done as a stunt to give reason to really go after Iran. Like a false flag. Do you know there has been in our history false flag operations by CIA? I told you guys about this. And I have the document. Operation Northwoods. They were coming up with false flags to invade Cuba. Back then, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's public, declassified documents. Look up Operation Northwoods. You will be shocked. So it's not like it hasn't happened in the past. They even talk about using a drone civilian aircraft by replacing that aircraft with an actual aircraft with passengers, but then replacing it. And then having a Mayday near Cuba to accuse Cuba of shooting down a civilian aircraft. That's in that Operation Northwoods. Go check it out. And that's just one scenario. You know, so you never know. But that's what a conspiracy person would. I'm sure they would. There's people out there talking about that right now. I'm not one of those people that run there. I'm saying, you know that they're going to say, oh, this is all part of a false flag. Got to be careful. So now they're releasing images, footage of an operational. Do you guys want to see what they? I don't want to. I really don't like sharing this, but they're putting out stuff of a drone hitting Israeli soldiers. I'm not showing this video, but this is what they do for their propaganda. A Hezbollah drone flying around, and it's looking for its target. I'm not going to share it. Spain reports 80, no wonder, figures. Look at this one. Spain, the ones that refused to call IRGC a terrorist organization group. You think? You think? Let me see what the IDF is putting. They just, it's back and forth. And meanwhile, that's going back and forth with Hezbollah and Israel. Anyway, let's see what you guys are saying. Yes, Marco, that's right. That's right. That false flag. Excellent, point. Bringing that up. Yeah, we don't need it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying we need it, Mad Million. I'm just saying there are people out there that will exploit it as such. Here, we're careful. We don't do that. I'm saying I wouldn't doubt there are people that are going to run with that. That's why I said I made it clear. I'm not one of those people. But I'm sure there are. Yeah. I would say this, what Richmond is saying. Question everything. Question everything. That's why you have to stay objective, but some stuff is unbelievable. Yes. You got to try to stay as objective as possible. Faye, I'm suffocating in here. I'm going out. I'm going in my pool. It is crazy hot here. And I don't have the air system on, so I'm going out there. I'm freaking out sitting here. It's hot. Yes, you question everything. Remember, the president said there's going to be strikes again tonight in Iran. And it's going to probably happen every night until they somehow come back to the table. And there we go. Excellent. If accurate, if true. Iran's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations. Iran will never yield to pressure. That pretty much says they're not coming to the table. Not right now, at least. That's my interpretation of that. If that is true, that he made that statement. What the hell is this about? That's old. All right, I'm going to do this for a few more minutes. I'm sure Tusi and everybody else will be going live, especially to talk about what may happen again tonight and what has happened overnight with Iran responding by nothing happened, but they tried to fire upon Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait again after what we did. Iran's, 10 minutes ago, Iran's Red Crescent said its members have been mobilized across the country following enemy threats to continue airstrikes on Iran. Okay, so let's put this up. 12 minutes ago. Forget about all this. I skip all this because this is commentary. I want to see what he actually said in quotes. He said the U.S. president was, quote, delusional, and that Iran's combat capability on Karg Island was very high. Yeah, the ceasefire allowed that to happen. They reinforced. How much they have, I don't know. Quote, the country's armed forces are at its highest level of readiness, and the security across all parts of Iran has been strongly ensured. How many times have you heard this? That's been repeated over and over and over again. So that's a generic response. That's been the response. So I am not seeing too much, and I'm not reading into that. You know what I mean? That's been the thread narrative. And we already went over this. He'd rather not hit it because it'll affect the people of Iran. They'll suffer. I'd rather not do it because once you do that, the people suffer, going after the infrastructure, power plants, bridges, etc. My message to the Iranian people is they're afraid because they have no guns and the other side has guns and they have a rally and they get shot. So he's, you know, he knows. He knows. Ghost. Oh, we could use Google Translate. Iran wants war. Well, they're just showing defiance. And again, how many times can we say it? They just want to survive. And they're willing to be martyrs to do so. They're willing to die for it. Yeah, exactly. The rats are full of bullshit. How many times are we going to say that too? But see, I'm at the point, and I hope the president's at that point, which I think he is. He's tired of the talk. He's tired of the... He even said it, we're not going to be played for suckers. He said it yesterday. I think he's reached the point that even though he's still behind closed doors channels trying to bring them back to the table to come to an agreement, to start to negotiate for a true deal, which I believe will never be something that could stick. But he's still behind the scenes trying to get that done. But meanwhile, he's going to threaten to hit them every night and will hit them trying to see if they'll come to the table. That seems to be the logic right now. The plan, the strategy. We're going to hit them harder and harder every night until they come back to the table and agree to our terms. To our terms, to his terms. Meanwhile, Iran is saying, we're not bowing to your pressure. We're not capitulating to you. We will never surrender. For now, that's what they're saying. How realistic that is, that's another question. How practical is that? How long can Iran... Because you got to remember, and again, they really don't care about the people. The people of Iran are suffering. Before this even started, they were suffering economically. A lot of these protests around the streets was because of what they were suffering in the country economically. And people just fed up. But there's also a water issue. There's a food supply issue. There's a power issue. And of course, economically affecting them with their work, livelihoods. How much has the Iran, I forgot the currency, what it's called, has devalued? What is their inflation? They are suffering. The people of Iran are suffering. It doesn't seem like the regime gives a shit, and they'll say, oh, we're doing it for the Iranian people. Are you really doing it for the Iranian people, or the regime supporters, which may number 3 or 4 million out of 90 plus? It's sad. It really is sad. So it's truly horrible what's going on. And that doesn't even count the executions, the people that are detained, the people who have died, the people who have been injured, the people that you don't even know where they are or what happened to them. And then what happens in their prison systems to people, torture, worse. Just think about what's going on in Iran. And only an Iranian on the ground could relate to this, unless you're a regime supporter because you have direct ties to the regime and you're supportive of it, or you're supportive of the ideology, the jihadi ideology. Do you understand? Is it the same ship, or is this a new ship? It's not going to say around oil tankers. Let's put that up. So it's sad. It's tragic what's going on in Iran. And if this regime survives, they're going to make their people even suffer more. Okay, now this might be the one that is connected to this. Oh yeah, this, we talked about this earlier. This incident. Well, 3 Indians nationals died from this. I showed earlier how their families are mourning in India. So this is part of it. But allegedly 3 Indian nationals lost their lives here. So that's also part of this. At least allegedly that's what's being reported. But again, they didn't comply. They did not listen. Multiple warnings, they did not comply. At least that's what they're saying. Repeatedly failed to comply with directions. They fired the 2 Hellfires. Engine room. So that's where they're targeting, the engine room. So yeah. But it was Indian nationals on board. And we could look at that report. But again, they were warned. I'm getting out of here soon. But it was, like you said, a Guinea flagged. But this is the other side of it. That's not what's being reported here, Brian. 3 Indian sailors died in a U.S. military operation to halt a tanker off Oman. It might be 2 separate incidents we're talking about here. This is 2 hours ago by Reuters. 3 Indian sailors died. Now, it may be flagged under a different country, but there were 3 Indian sailors, or maybe it's a separate incident. So, they're saying these people lost their lives. Now, maybe this will get clarification about it. Is it that the name of the vessel? Cerebello? What was the video? Do we see it on the back of the vessel? Let's see. Let me go back. Cerebello. I want to see that video now. Let me click back onto your link. Let's look at it. Oh, come on. What's the name of the vessel? Show the rear. I don't think it's the same one. Unless that's a different... I really don't see Cerebello, but it might be a different vessel. Might be. Regardless, this happened. And India is pissed. So it could be two separate incidences. Oh, Indian crude. Oh, it's definitely that one. It's just had Indian crew on it. That's your phone, Mom. They ignored the warnings. Violated the ongoing blockade by attempting to transport oil from Iran.
Damn.
Okay.
Why do they spend so much time?
So there was Indian crew members on it.
Where?
It was not an Indian oil tanker, but Indian crew.
What do these people do? Stop scamming. I mean, really. That is so disgusting.
India has more than 300,000 sailors working in global shipping fleets. So India is not happy. But again, they were told to stop. They didn't comply. They put those seamen at risk. It's as simple as that. They didn't comply. This is what happens. You didn't comply? Well. All right, let me see what Ghalibaf. It went from China to Iran. Let me see Ghalibaf's statement. I'm going in the pool. It's too hot. I'm sweating now. Okay. Now, do you think Ghalibaf is the one making these posts? This is does he even speak English? For him to speak, I mean, they can use an interpreter, but I don't think he's writing any of this. Wrong strategies and impulsive decisions will reset the entire board for the worse. Explode energy. See, there they go, threatening energy infrastructure and markets. And create an endless quagmire that you will be stuck in for years. You will see a different Iran.
What do you think of Iran, Billy?
Too much, Ma.
Yeah?
That is not him writing that. I would be very surprised if he was writing this. Shocked, actually. I do not think he's the one behind these posts. Just on the language itself. I am not buying that. Someone's doing it for him. He was on the shit list for a little while. I am going to leave soon because I'm sweating. I'm going in my pool. I am. I'm going in. I can't take it anymore. Good morning, Peter. Let's see what you guys. The EU chimes in. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see what the EU is chiming in. Then I'm leaving. Tonight could be an interesting night again. As that's what the president indicates. EU Foreign Policy Chief said she has spoken to Iran's foreign minister about the latest escalation and the state of negotiations. She warned that renewed attacks on countries stride the Persian Gulf and critical infrastructure are unacceptable. That's what they're threatening. They're threatening to hit the Arab countries' infrastructure. She also said she had been in touch with Kuwaiti foreign minister. A return to full-scale war would come at a tremendous cost to the entire region. The diplomatic route remains the best path out of this war. Jesus Christ. If you're so worried about it, get involved. Stop talking. Take action. Stop preaching from the sidelines and dictating what should be done here. You have nothing to do with it. You don't want to get involved. It's more benefit to you than to us. Yet you're doing a lot of talking from the sidelines and diplomacy. Why don't you do something? It's really frustrating. They're all talk. All talk. It's so easy to talk from the sidelines and be critical of something. So easy. I don't know her background. I'm not going to start talking about people's backgrounds. The point is, you don't talk from the sidelines and say, well, we want this, you should do this, you should do that. Well, why don't you do anything? Stop talking and be critical of the situation. Be proactive instead of reactive. You're so worried about it? Do something about it. Exactly, Dave. I don't get that. I don't get it. It's so hot here right now, all up in here. I'm freaking out.
And pretty soon it's gonna thunder,
Maybe.
rain.
Maybe. Tomorrow's going to be bad here with severe thunderstorms possible. Matter of fact, let me check the weather before I leave. So I'm going in. It's almost noon. Now I'm sitting here. Plus, Tusi will be live. Everybody's going to be live. You know everybody's going to be on this all day, all night. I have no Yankee game tonight. No Knick game till Saturday. So I'm open for tonight. There's no storms yet. This is what I'm worried about tomorrow. And they're getting some heavy storms right now. And the border, wow. Wisconsin, look at that. That almost looks derecho-ish.
Yeah, hurricane. No, tornado.
Look at this.
Tornado. Girl was talking about it.
Oh my gosh.
They're very afraid.
That's coming tomorrow here. That's where all the action is right now. Look at that. Now, we may get some storms developing and affect us here in northeast and New England later. But this is the main concern for tomorrow. I want to try one more thing.
Don't you get tired?
Yes, I'm going in the pool.
Jesus.
I want to see if this adapter works to my phone. See if there's any alerts. I'm sure there's plenty. Severe thunderstorm. Tornado risk in here. Heavy rainfall. I see the red outline.
They're very scared. The phone or whatever.
EF2 possible 20%. The storm chasers are right there.
God bless them.
None of them are active yet. Oh, he just went active. It has the arrow, but he's not showing live. They're not live yet.
Do giveaways. This is a great time to do giveaways because I can help.
He's live.
Sit here and can help him. He's doing it on his own. I can definitely.
They're on the other side.
One thing that I noticed at that time told me the doctor, don't
So yeah, this is the area of concern today.
pressure.
Right in here. Even Chicago.
Oh yeah, they were showing it, the girl on TV.
What, ma?
The girl was showing it on TV.
Oh, with the thunderstorms?
Yeah, with the tornado.
I don't think anything's happening here yet. This is going to develop throughout the afternoon.
Very busy.
Yeah, there's nothing on the locals. Nothing yet. This is where it is right now. Right here. All right, it's time for me to go. Mark. Yeah, there's been a lot of derecho-like activity. Yes. 95. All right, so I read that already. It's hot. It is hot.
I'm going to my bed. I'm going to put the fan on.
So can you imagine? Now, instead of putting out, I have this big. Excuse me, I'm talking. I have this big 2,000 watt drum amplifier that connects to this system. It's made for this. I don't use it because I have it tied into the mixer board instead. The outputs. but the outputs are supposed to go into the amplifier, but I have it coming into the mixer board. So I'm going to use this for my phone to play the music into that amplifier to see if it works today. That's why I bought it yesterday. I'm going to go rock out in the pool right now.
You better, because when it starts thundering, you can't be there.
And I'm going to have to put the umbrella finally up on the pool because I'm getting way too dark here. The sun. I'm going to have to get some bottles of water and bring it outside too because you got to hydrate in this kind of weather. For those that are watching, yeah, that's right. It's already that time. That's right. 7 hours ahead. You're right. It's 7:30 p.m. already in Iran. For those that are going to be outdoors in this heat, please hydrate. Please take care of yourselves because it is life-threatening. That's why I'm going to put the umbrella. I'm going to bring bottles of water out there. No apple juice. No alcohol.
Why you always mention apple juice?
Wow. You have a level of 4 out of 5 severe storms today in northern Illinois? Damn. That's high risk. DLD. That's not good.
They have people there telling them.
I am literally, and this is the worst material, the cotton. You want to wear something light colored, you know what I mean? I'm not going to wear this in the pool or this in the pool. But if you guys don't realize how dark, it's crazy how dark I'm getting. Did you ever, now I could, it's going to take some work. I could stream. I even have, you want to see what I have for the phone? This piece, where's my little umbrella now? Right here. I could go live, but not on YouTube. It would probably be TikTok only. And Rumble. TikTok and Rumble only. Ma, please stop talking. I can't concentrate talking to everybody that's watching when you're talking.
Oh, Billy, don't be aggressive with me and shut up already.
My gosh.
Why you have to scream at
So
me?
this little umbrella, excuse me,
No, you
this little umbrella
screaming at me.
goes here and it clips to the tripod that I have for the camera if I use the phone. So it protects the phone from overheating. See? So this clips, so I could put the phone in the sun on a tripod and this will protect it from overheating. Now I can attach an XLR cable from that amplifier and run it into the house, into the mixer board where you'll hear the music perfectly, but be able to see me going crazy in the pool. That's the way that would work. So I may do that for Rumble and TikTok. Not on here. Yeah, we already talked about what happened at the Pentagon. The hazmat thing. That could just be a filtration issue. And the alarm bells go off, the warnings, that's code. A black eye, I'm already have 2 black eyes. You guys don't understand. I'm sweating, I'm getting out of here, but look at, I just want to show you without getting too much information and too graphic. So, look how dark, you can't see it. Look at that, look how dark I am. Just look how light, look how dark I am already. That's crazy. I'm burning up. Burning up out there in that pool. Dave, don't make me laugh because now I'm thinking of Oompa Loompas or other stuff. I'm literally sweating. Can you see how I'm sweating? I gotta get out of here. And then if you look up here, depending on how I lay on the pool, it's lighter here, is the way I lay, than the rest. And all you're gonna see soon is the teeth. That's all you're gonna see. Because I'm gonna get so dark. Alright, so I'm gonna do that. I'm going in the pool. I don't think I'm streaming myself in the pool. I'm gonna go enjoy myself in the pool. But it's just one of those things that hits my mind when I do things like this. Yes, Mom, I am. That's because the darker I get, the teeth stand out more. I'm not going to go live. Yes. We already discussed that, KJ. About the Pentagon. Anyway, you lovelies, I'll be back later. I'm going in the pool now because I'm really wasting time here. Have a great rest of your day. Be well, be blessed, be safe. See everybody later. And pray for everybody everywhere.